Excuse me, sorry. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Randomizer. We are having a fun little Turkey Day run. I am here in the booth with Drinks Glue. How are you doing tonight? Stunned him into silence.
Oh my goodness, that turkey, the turkey impersonation.
Sorry?
Well done, good sir.
I had a little something stuck in my throat.
Oh yeah, probably some feathers. But no, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We were having our second annual turkey extravaganza race celebration spectacular. If you were around last year in our community, you know Golden Soccer gobbled up the field. And this year we decided we wanted to run it back and just a little different type of flag set we got going on tonight for a community race on this holiday Friday. And Dorsman, how was your Thanksgiving, by the way?
It was pretty good. I ate too much and fell asleep in an uncomfortable position.
Oh, nice. Did it hurt your neck or your back?
Neck.
Well.
Yeah, that seems to be what happens now. My late 30s.
That happens from time to time. But showing up on your screen now, we have Utterbutter, Jesus the Frog, Knuckly Kong, and returning from last year, we have Golden Shocker, here to defend his Turkey Day crown. So Tersman, these flags are a little different than Ultra Sleuth flags, if that is what you are familiar with from our community. We do need a little bit more requirements going on here. We need 7 characters and 11 espers. And what else do we got going on, Tersman?
Lots of interesting little changes. So you do need 7 characters and 11 espers, but you got a 4-character start. Unfortunately, 2 of those characters are going to be Go-Go and Umaro, so low check characters. Those 2 are going to be available, but we'll see what they have to deal with the other 2. Big one, I think, is barter shops. So everything in every shop is going to be 5,000 gold, and our players are going to be starting with 65k. So they'll be able to pick a couple things in the shops. There's probably going to be better stuff there than there will be in the chests, so they're going to want to do that. So that means everything was going to sell for half of that as well. No eggs, 2.5 scaling, level scaling for characters, espers, and dragons. Shuffled statues. Normalize and distort is on. I just got to that part. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Good luck, y'all.
Yeah, interesting wrinkle with no free progression being on with these flags is that Yamara and Go-Go, I may be wrong, but I don't think there can be progression as Zone Eater. So that means your progression for our characters is going to be gated behind the other 2 characters. Well, excuse me, either Yamaro's spot or the other spots. So it does kind of, we do have a little longer requirements, but if you pay attention to the no free progression and what it cannot be as characters and espers, it does allow you to hone in a little bit faster. Illumina Snow Muffler, very nice. You do already have the 1 Snow Muffler, so why not take the Illumina? But also with the barter shops, and starting with the 65 GP, as you can see, Golden Shocker's already found some more Snow Mufflers, so Snow Muffler, best piece in the game, and barter shops, when you can find something like that, you just take advantage of it and get a few of them.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's sort of you're seeing right here, the double-edged sword of it. You can find snow mufflers for 5,000, but that also means that every single consumable is also going to be 5k. So you won't be able to buy those big stacks of warp stones and smoke bombs and phoenix downs at first place you find. You're going to be a little bit more judicious about what you're putting where.
Yeah, but we did give our runners 5 phoenix downs and 5 warp stones to ease a little bit of that holiday constraints from all the Black Friday deals. Looks like, whoever's in charge of the ad had a typo, or maybe he meant to put the luminous for 5,000 and the phoenix down for 500, and they actually put all 5,000. So it happens sometimes when you're in advertising, but nevertheless, everything cost 5,000 GP.
That's right, but thankfully the chests are not doing too terrible. They're tiered, I believe, in this one, which means it's going to get better as it goes along. Is that correct, or am I getting that mixed up?
Oh no, that is 100% correct. It also allows a level playing field, so everybody will get the same chest as you open them. So with that in mind, I think checking mini shops is the way to go. Normally in most flag sets you see a Genji armor and you're like, well, it's a Genji armor, oh well. It's going to cost me 50,000 GP. It'd be nice to have, but you know what? I'd rather save that money for earrings. At barter shops, it doesn't matter as much. With 65,000 GP starting and everything costing 5,000, you essentially can get 13 items for free. And you know what? If 2 of those are Genji armors, you're not gonna complain.
Yeah, absolutely. You can really pick like kind of how you want to set up a build with the stuff you have access to. And since you kind of know that everybody else has roughly the same stuff, like once you get up to about 50 or 60 chests, you can probably be pretty certain that everybody else is going to be around the same level of power as you are in terms of what they were able to get out of boxes.
Ooh, Golden Shocker is showing off the Y Vanish there. Similar to the Wyver move, but instead of, instantly doing it, we throw in a nice little animation. And that is a 13,000 GP Esper from the Zen Thief. So that is the first Esper on the board for Golden Shocker.
Not bad at all. That's a pretty good price. Losing a single GP in this is pretty rough. You want to spend those in a shop, but 13K is not too bad at all.
Nope, not bad at all. Looks like Utter Butter is looting in the basement. He's gonna put the Mogul Charm on here. The scaling is a little higher than traditional flag sets. It's at 2.5 per character, Esper or Dragon, similar to many of the flag sets in the Kefka Grand Prix. However, experience is only at upscaling of 2. So starting with 4 characters, everything is starting off around level 12-ish, and we're at level 3. So scaling can get ahead of us a little bit here if we're not careful with it. As Atma weapons for Knuckly Kong, that is a fantastic find, and 3 people can wear them.
Yeah, do you think you hang on to Umaro if you can equip the lightsaber in this one?
I think you can hang on to Mara as long as the seed isn't permadeath and he dies.
Fair enough. Single issue voter.
Yeah, so that's a behemoth suit in the last chest in the basement for Utter Butter. But with tiered chest, remember it's not what's in that exact chest you open, it's once you reach a number in that string. So if that was his 20th chest, for example, everybody will get a behemoth suit with check number 20 or chest number 20.
Yeah, it works. It works along those lines. So whatever number it is, that's assigned to that item. It's you picked up 20 items. Your 20th item is going to be the same as everybody else's.
All right, we got Knuckly Kong. Looks like he's gonna do some South Figaro cave grinding. Fantastic spot. We got access to a free heal and a couple different biomes we can check out. Utter Butter is in World of Ronash doing a little more looting, and Golden Shocker gets an Atma weapon from the Zetzer free check.
Yeah, pretty nice set of gear. The Colosseum is fully visible in this flag set as well, but might not be much of a reason to go there. There was a flame shield floating around, lots of Atma weapons everywhere. Pretty decent set of items.
Yeah, plus remember, Knuckly showed us that there's an Illumina in the World of Ruin Nourished weapon shop, which maybe Utter Butter will grab while he's here as well. Let's see if he does. Yep, there he goes. Very nice.
It's a good call. And I think 10 battle cursed shield in this one.
Yep, 10 across the board. Jesus the Frog found the Atma weapons himself. Let me ask you this, Turdsman. Do you prefer an Illumina or an Atma weapon?
I probably prefer an Illumina just because it's a little bit more. It's a bit more balanced, useful. It's got some decent defense attached to it. You can put your character in the back row. You don't have to you don't have to worry about stuff like HP, what have you. But an Atma weapon in the right hands with somebody that's been juicing on a strength Esper all seed, that can be one of the most fun things in the game.
Speaking of one of the most fun things in the game, Golden Shocker has unearthed everybody's favorite fight, the Item Outsider. He's going to take the reset before that thing gets out of hand, and looks like it was already starting to get out of hand. He had 2 characters taking a nap from eating all of their turkey. That's a bummer, but you know what? That's why you save. You just reload your file and go somewhere else.
Yep. No need to do any more of that. Looks like they're going to be heading into the Figaro Cave behind Knuckly Kong there. Another pretty popular spot for taking a grind fight, since you can get that free heal before the fight. Finds Reach Frogs.
Ooh, very nice. Yeah.
You like to see these.
Oh, you love to see these, especially in a barter shop. I know the scaling is a little, on the downside right now, but you can always come back later and capitalize on these and, round out your Christmas shopping with some more barter shopping.
Yeah, if you happen to find a cat hood as well, that can make these things give you almost like what 110, something like that, depending on what the scaling is.
Oh yeah. Actually, that Wizard of Yamaru is fantastic for this fight because Reach Frogs are weak to ice. Ooh, that Cruel or Humpy fight is pretty nice as well. Three of the members of that formation are undead. But looks like maybe Utterbutter doesn't have Member Fight, so he can't take advantage of that. Nevertheless, still a very nice fight.
Yeah, pretty much anything that happens, around the later half of the World of Ruin, you're going to be happy that you found it.
And oh no, did the Reach Frogs jump on Golden Stalker there?
It looks like it. I think a couple of them did. Nope, maybe just the one. Nope, there's two.
Oh, there's three.
Oh,
Is there four?
oh
Oh,
my.
there's four. Yeah. Reach Frog's helping out their brother Jesus the Frog. Looks like.
I mean, worth it if you can take them out still. And it looks like, yeah, Storm's doing some work there. Very nice.
Yep, Yamaru comes in handy yet again.
Okay, Knuckly Kong, I just ran into this fight here with Atma. They had walked past this before. They just like walked right through the thing and had to come back around the cave on the other side. I wonder if they entered from the wrong entrance and just because I think to activate this one you have to come all the way from the South Figaro side. Ooh.
Well, most people from the South Figaro side, you will by default hit all of the tiles that you need to trigger the tunnel armor fight. You can if you go from the Figaro Castle side, but it's honestly probably just faster to get in the airship and go on over. But if you ever
did enter from the South Figaro Castle side for the levels and then switched over.
Okay.
If you ever walk through that cave with Locke and whenever the screen, you hear the rumbling in the background, that means you stepped on one of the event tiles you need to trigger the tunnel armor fight. And they're all in spots where you can't walk around them. So in the vanilla game, you can trigger. You have to trigger it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that's how that fight triggered. Going through all those little squares first. So Golden Shocker heading the same way. We'll see how they like having. Oh, hello.
Wow,
how you doing, Ultros? What's up?
Yeah. Sign up for season 7.
Yeah, you're a little late for that one, but
that's all right. UltrasLeague.com. It pays the bills.
Ultras League season 8. There will be an announcement of an announcement to verify the announcing of that one here in sometime in the next 6-7 months, something like that.
If you had to pick a date, Herdsman, when do you think that will be announced? What do you think that's going to be?
Ooh, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess May 9th.
May 9th.
That's locked. Put it on your calendars.
I'm gonna say March 20th.
Why don't you just make it May the 4th? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, that day is kind of busy. That's a busy day.
I'm gonna risk. I'm gonna risk setting up my entire setup and pull up the Windows calendar and see what March 20th is. It's a Thursday. All right, I'll stick with that.
All right, that's not too bad.
No.
Atma causing a lot of trouble for our runners. Golden Shocker taking some really nasty AoE hits, going down, going to be wiped. Knuckly, on the other hand, taking care of the flying thing and getting a rock for their trouble.
Yeah, Atma's one of those bosses you'd rather see later instead of earlier, just because he has a handful of nasty AoE attacks. And in Golden Stalker's he took the Esper from the Zen Thief. So he has higher scaling than everybody else right now, so those AoE attacks are even more devastating. It's one of those things where if you come across him and you're level 30 and you have, Bolt 3 and you just Bolt 3 him or whatever, you think nothing of him. But when you come across him when you're level 7 and then, he Acid Rains or does Blaze on you, and then you're like, crap, this guy, had it out for me today.
Yeah, you really start to feel his stats when you have under 400 so HP. Most people aren't going to be able to survive an anything from at that point.
All right, looks like Jesus the Frog is going to see what's all about in the Zone Eater Cave. Golden Shark is going to pivot, do a little more shopping. Knuckly Kong, he's got that Yamaru in his heart, and he's going on up to do Yamaru's check. Very nice. Ooh, I was wrong. Zone Eater can be an Esper item. I thought it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I think that one's a little confusing. I'm assuming just because it's such a rough, such a rough trip.
I know Mountain Zozo cannot be. I was wrong about Ancient Castle during the Kefka Camp pre-event as well. So I should probably go brush up on that.
It can be tough to keep track of that sort of stuff. Like free progression is usually not something that you have to think about.
All right, that is Narapa for Jesus the Frog in Search the Skies. Narapa is one of the easier fights you want to see. Earlier on, he does a bunch of condemn and then he does a bunch of nothing. As long as you have a way to get around his reflect, you'll be just fine in this fight.
Yeah, it can be a little tricky if you have some very specific types of offense, but if you have somebody that can swing a sword, you're pretty good. Which it looks like pretty much everybody's found that Illumina, and pretty much everybody's popped it on lock.
Yep.
Which makes sense. Took care of that ice dragon down there in Knuckly's side.
Very nice for Knuckly there. Utter Butter with a martial fight. I think this is the martial fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Martial fight with a couple of nothing, so good for him there. Looks like Golden Striker's peaking the Coliseum. The Coliseum is one of those things, whereas, we got 100% visible, but because of the barter shops, and most players were probably gonna, not loot as much, that you won't have as much, to show off to try to grab something good out of it. You have much less to trade. Let me put it that way. So it may be even one of those things where maybe you come back 3 or 4, handful of times when you have more access to more stuff to just see what it can or cannot trade for.
Yeah. Pretty much any time you're feeling like you're lacking in equipment, it's pretty good. It's going to be worth your time to check. At least take the 20 seconds to look at the list. But so many Atma weapons. There's an Illumina floating around and a flame shield. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of reason to head to the Coliseum early, but
actually, looks like Golden Striker got a gauntlet out of there. So now
that's a good reason.
Yeah, that's a fantastic reason. My goodness. Utter Butter getting a little Ice Dragon action. Knuckly Kong get a little Tri-Talk action. A little back and forth there. Jesus the Frog heard that it's a good idea to climb up the top of the mountain, so he is making his trek on up there.
There is at least the Esper we saw that Utter Butter get off of the martial fight that Knuckly Kong's doing right now. So there's at least one piece of progression up here, and taking out a dragon, not a bad use of your time.
Nope, not a bad use at all. Things going a little bit better for Golden Striker now. With my goodness,
Wow,
that luck is cooking now. My goodness.
my gauntlet is a good accessory, as it turns out.
Yeah. Turns out that's why Arbus only wants to give you that of the Genji Glove. My goodness. Indeed. All right, so Tersman, we see a lot of our runners kind of doing the same thing. We got 3 of them, doing Wall to Ruin Narsh right here. We've seen a couple of them, bounce around the South Figuro Cave. If you were out there about in this seed and you were not going to go one of those 2 spots, where would you go personally?
That's tough. Honestly, I think I would do what Golden Shocker's doing right now. I like Daryl's Tomb as an early check. There's a small handful of chests there, and if you know what you're doing, you can get through the whole thing, even picking up a couple boxes in like a minute and a half. And then you even get that little added incentive at the end where you can see what's happening before you have to fight the boss. Big fan of this one. I like Setzer's checks in general. But this is a good early on thing. Also, there's a monster in a box in here. Hey.
Oh yeah. Skull Dragon at the Opera Disruption. Actually, not Opera Disruption. The Opera Dragon check. So a couple other spots we have access to with that Wyvern move is we can go on down to Ancient Castle anytime we like to do so. In Worlds Collide, if you don't have Edgar, and you try to access the Figaro Castle in World of Ruin, you got Siegfried standing in your way saying it's no bueno, but you can Y remove him if you have access to that flag or it is enabled. We can also go to Magic Tech Factory at any point in time we like to do so. The little Chancellor and 2 of his minions block your way, but we can Y remove those, get through them, and then kind of get out of the logic or the natural progression of the seed. Try to find some other characters that way. You can do the same thing with Mountain Zozo, but in no free progression, Mountain Zozo can only be an item. there was a dragon up there as well. So
I think Mount Zozo is also one of the ones that can have. I don't think that one applies to no free progression. God, maybe I'm getting that backwards, but I remember it was whatever I didn't think it was the last time. I think it was during the Kefka Grand Prix.
I'm not
messing that one up.
Ooh, that's Edgar.
Hey,
Speaking
that's
of
a good
Castle. But no, Mount Zozo cannot. The reasoning rationale behind that is that there's a dragon up there, so it's lucrative in itself.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
that is, but Phoenix Cave can be progression with no free progression on, because the logic behind that, yeah, there's a dragon in there, but it is a much more tedious check to get to. So that is why it can reward progression. Knuckly Kong getting him some Zone Eater action. Golden Shocker getting a little Fumbaba going on here.
Yeah, taking a minute. He's got a whole buttload of HP there. He's storing it up top in the shoulders. I just noticed his shoulders. Like, ugh.
Yeah, most people notice his legs. Well, his lack of legs, excuse me, and also his lack of toenails, because my dog hasn't had a pedicure in Lord knows when.
Man,
but
he's grabbing with that right foot. Look at that.
Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness, was that? Oh, he's through it. He's through it.
That was very close on Knuckly Kong's side.
All right, so Golden Shocker has access to Edgar, and that is a fantastic find in itself, because he gives us access to a discount in the World of Ruin South Figaro, and in barter shops. That's even cooler, because now everything, gosh, 2,500 instead of 5K. So maybe if we're going to do some consumable shopping, that would be the spot to do so.
Yeah, he is worth. It's worth getting that discount pretty much at any time. Unless it's 0%, like 0 shops or whatever, and it doesn't matter at all. Having Edgar around to save you some money is always pretty helpful. So Knuckly Kong grabs his Magi Sight out of the Zone Eater. So we got Utter Butter doing some quick shopping here, figuring out. Oh, never mind. They're using a potion. My mistake.
Ooh,
they're both heading in there. Okay, we got a Valiant Knight for that Flame Shield. That's a tough ask.
That is a tough one indeed. However, you know who found an offering though, right?
Oh yeah.
Kong got the Opera Dragon. So if I knew that was there, I would take that offer, or excuse me, the offering Valiant Knife in a heartbeat. But without access to that, I'd probably hold on to the Flame Shield.
You can always go back if you do find the offering. Especially, you have lock there right out of the gate, so you know that you're going to be able to do it. Only Golden Shocker has found Edgar at this point, so I don't know if anybody else could swing that Illumina around. But if Golden Shocker happens to find all that stuff, then now they've got 2 characters.
Yeah, remember, we found Edgar, and there's no guarantee that we find more characters. We probably will. We still have access to a lot of checks that we could do. Before we would dedicate that this seed is Daryl's Tomb gated, but nevertheless, Edgar may be the only one. Ooh, that's unfortunate for Jesus the Frog.
Yeah, took some bad luck in the Coliseum there. It looked like.
Yeah, did he take the reset? Yeah, he took the reset. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it. I think did he go after the Valiant Knife, or was that somebody else? He went after the Gauntlet. Okay. Yeah, Utter Butter, both Utter Butter and Golden Shocker, making use of. Oh, maybe that was Jesus the Frog. No, it was Golden Shocker who fought the Reach Frogs, making use of that storm attack with the Blizzard Orb there. Not a bad move for Umaro early on in the game. It's going to drop off pretty quick in terms of damage, but popping an earring on with it, as you just saw on Utter Butter's screen, Umaro did 1,300 magic damage in that, so not too shabby.
Yeah, I think Umaro has like the 2nd or 3rd highest magic stat in the game.
I would be sweet. His stats are great.
Yeah, which is more the case that he's the greatest character in the history of video games. But that's a different argument for a different game.
It's an easy argument to make.
Yeah, but anywho, yeah. So all of that adds up to he is the best possible character for the Coliseum. Go-Go is actually like a really probably the second best, but you just don't realize it. If he can, but it's also dependent on him having a good weapon. If you give him a good weapon and remove all his other abilities, he just can only attack.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you throw him in there with a Mega's Rod, then it's not going to work out too well against some of the fights. But if he can wear one of the better weapons, better swords, or whatever it may be, he's a fantastic character to use in the Colosseum.
Also, if you happen to have some abilities that can file in, like if you have the drill and the chainsaw, giving him tools for one of his ability slots can help you out in the Colosseum quite a bit too. See Knuckly Kong going to take care of this guy here standing on the railroad tracks and just walk right on into the Devil's Lab.
Yeah, interesting thing about Knuckly Kong, I would say Knuckly Kong is one of the few racers. Maybe some, it's 50-50 on whether it does or not. But Knuckly Kong is one of those racers that when you put him on restream, he tends to perform better. The bright lights do not scare Knuckly Kong. You can see he's rocking and rolling. He is tied in the lead for progression right now. Yeah, and going to toe against Jesus the Frog, and Golden Shocker, Knuckly Kong will not back down from the challenge. And I would not be shocked if he was even so brave or as bold to keep Yamaru in his party the whole time.
Yeah, we'll see. Golden Shocker finding a big pile of experience points in a box somewhere. Very nice.
Ooh, very nice, yeah.
I like Knuckly Kong making this play now. They picked a couple of their own checks. Saw that I think 2 of them were dead. Looks like no. They did a bunch of dragons. That's why their check count is so high. But doing a couple of the regular ones first to make sure that there isn't some obvious progression in there. They didn't find that Edgar. There might be some more fun stuff down the Edgar line, but waiting a little bit before immediately breaking into the little side path here. We have no idea if Celeste's checks are going to be in the logic of the randomizer, but this is a good play for Knuckly, especially up against there's a lot of good players on the screen right now. Utter Butter is new, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to pull out. Good levels on them. Looking forward to seeing how they play with the Normalize of the Storm, which is a really uncommon flag. But Knuckly going to see if they can't find some secret little progression in here, something real nice that everybody else might not end up with access to.
Now, Tersman, what do you mean by the logic of the seed that Celeste may not dictate we come down him?
Yes, so the various Y removes, you saw that fun little animation play when Knuckly Kong went into the Magitech facility there, got rid of that guy. Normally you would only have access to this dungeon if you had Celeste in your party, and that would then therefore mean that if you get Celeste in your party and go here, it would be somewhat likely that would be part of where the game wants you to go. It's going to place characters and espers along the line under the assumption that you're going to be able to get there. Not necessarily quickly, but you won't get soft locked, I think is the term for it. Knuckly Kong's breaking out of that, going into this area without the character, so therefore the rewards that he finds in there might not necessarily be directly helpful to the different the different routing paths that everybody else has access to.
Mm-hmm.
I think I over-explained that, but
just want to get a quick update. We do have 3 other runners that are not actually on our live stream. One Free Fitz,
yes.
Papa Shango, and Jex Varrock, also taking part of the Turkey festivities. One Free Fitz just got to 5 characters, 5 espers, taking the overall lead. Papa Shango is 5 characters, 2 espers. By the way, Fitz also has a dragon under a belt. And Jex Varrock having a little difficulties right now. 4 characters, 1 esper, was getting his clock cleaned by some Madans and veterans in almost party wipe, but he ran away.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's Breach Frogs in another spot. My goodness.
Yeah, looks like maybe no, this isn't. Yeah, this is
he was
Daryl's
outside
tomb.
of the plane. Yeah, he was outside of the plane when Golden Shocker found him.
Interesting.
Yeah, if you were not familiar with Reach Frogs, they are the go-to grinding spot in a lot of the vanilla Final Fantasy VI speedruns. They live in a forest on the western continent. You know, the one that kind of, you know, technically houses Miranda and Jador, but there's like a land bridge that you have to navigate, but they're, you know, technically on the same continent or whatnot. But yeah, you crack an ice rod, you get a bunch of experience, you turn Celeste into, you know, who knows what, and you go beat the game. But yeah, to find them out in the real world is a nice find.
And Knuckly Kong having a little bit of a headache with Welk here. Umaro just attacks. He doesn't really stop. He doesn't care whether or not the tail is up. So he's putting some damage out on that shell and just got a fun little giant bolt in the face with first troubles.
Yeah, Umaro is all gas, no brakes, and sometimes, you know, some things do counterattack, and that's, you know, what happens, but no risk it, no biscuit.
Thankfully, he got his biscuit back with a quick Phoenix down, but unfortunately, Gru comes back, so that head is going to be disappearing.
Knuckly Kong with a great heads-up play here. He is no stranger to the science of Umaro, and if you were attempting to run away from a fight, Umaro will not act, and you don't want Umaro just triggering counterattacks on that shell, so what he's doing is he is just running away, so Umaro will not act, and then he will allow Umaro to act when it is convenient for him again.
It does make it take a little bit longer, but obviously that's a much better situation to be in than like having, you know, in this case, taking a bunch of lightning damage that Knuckly can't quite tank. Locke is still up. Let's see if he's just gonna take this one all the way through. That's probably the thing to do at this point.
Yeah, one more swing should do it for him. Oh no, my goodness, I forgot. So if you're not familiar with Normalize and Distort, ladies and gentlemen, what we do with Normalize and Distort is we take all of the character stats, we shuffle them up into a deck of cards, and we distribute them randomly. And one of those stats is characters' HP totals. And sometimes, you know, characters get about the same amount of HP you expect them to have. Sometimes they get a lot more, sometimes they get a lot less, and you know what? You have fun the entire time.
So yeah, this particular Welk has a ton of HP.
Mm-hmm.
A ton. May or may not be because the shell, I think, on default has like maxed out like 65,300 and whatever. The business is taking care of those. Locke gets a level, and Knuckly Kong gets Phantom. So I think that's two. I like this. Grabbing two Espers and then dipping out. I think that was a good call. Fly around to some of your other faster checks to look for your next character.
Yeah, you know, one of the things with bar shops is you don't have sleeping bags readily available to you, so you can do things like what Knuckly is doing. You hop on over to one of the free heal buckets that exist in the world and just take care of that when you need you know, rather than wasting 3 of your Phoenix Downs or a handful of sleeping bags, just do that, and you're good to go again.
It's usually a good use of your time. Golden Shocker doing this similar thing, taking a nap in the Figaro Castle, which you don't see that happen too terribly often, but they're in, you know, same kind of boat. You got to get your people back up. It's going to cost you 5K for a single Phoenix Down. Much rather spend a few extra seconds.
And it does actually make tents, you know, kind of viable. That way, you know, tents are 4 sleeping bags and 1s, or if you need them to be, they can also be some Phoenix Downs. So if you pick up 5 or 6 tents, that saves you, you know, a little bit of time, so you have to travel back to those heal buckets, those free story heals throughout the game. And oh my goodness, Outer Butter just found his second bird. The Revenge of the Birds, the Turkey Strike Back. That is minus 20 speed for Outer Butter.
Ouch. Yeah. Oh yes, forgot to mention that. So finding 2 of the bird-based espers will reduce everybody's speed by 20, because, you know, carrying all that stuff back to your car can be kind of rough. You only want to get the 1 bird, you know? Yeah. You don't want to get more than 1.
Yeah.
But if you find the bird-based bosses and take care of them, that will give you your speed back. So killing 2 of those bosses gets you a plus 20 speed buff, which unfortunately in the case of Utter Butter is just going to bring him back up to normal.
Yeah, the good, I don't know if you want to call this good news or bad news, but I'll just say it's news, is that shuffled statues is on. So we will by default find spicy chicken. We will find poltergeist no matter what. So we know where one of the birds will be for sure. So if he is fortunate enough to find Tritok out there in the real world and defeat him, he'll get his 20 speed back.
So we talked over it, but Golden Shocker found Realm in the underground castle. Not a bad character. One quick check and another check that's at least got a couple of grind fights in it. I'm not sure if you're going to want to be doing that at minute 33, but finding that sixth character is going to be very useful, especially once your starting checks are looking a little light. Especially one with few checks, because that means you got a 50-50 shot of your next character being in a really quick, easy check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, with the scaling the way it is, when you're always going to be outscaling your enemies, it's impossible unless you fight, only the end of game bosses over and over again. Once as you fight Narapas or as you fight Tonal Armors, your enemies will gain more levels than you will by the virtue of the way the scaling is. So I would say that maybe doing some things like Owsers and other flag sets would be like a no bueno. But because you need to get some fixed encounters everywhere, anyways to keep up with some of that scaling, that it may not be a bad idea here. I don't know
Yeah,
if I
it's
would
true.
go as far as say to start doing all of the things like that. But if you worked one or two into the late game with that in mind, I think that's perfectly viable and even a good idea.
Yeah, depending on what you've got access to, it might be a better use of your time than going after a dragon. Dragons are great for getting a few extra levels in an emergency, but unless you're capable of putting out 6,000 or 7,000 damage with one of everybody's turns, dragon might be a little bit too dangerous for whatever you got.
All right, that is an Atma weapon for the blue dragon spot for Golden Shocker, which is great because now he has, I think he has 4 now instead of 3, so fantastic. Knuckly Kong, Mount Zozo, that little flashing dot means this is an item, not an Esper or character. But he did get access to the Dragon Blade was up here, so he got some more levels out of it.
Yeah, Knuckly Kong's characters are particularly tough right now. Good place to be. Fixed dice. You got somebody that can use it, I guess, if you really want to go that route. But Setzer is not getting a bunch of experience right now. Apparently, he's about 5 levels behind everybody else.
All right, Golden Shocker is done with his Ancient Castle tour. Knuckly Kong, where will he go next? Looks like he's going back to his South Figaro Cave fight, and we'll get round number 2. First, the Atma, which was what we see Utterbutter fighting on the top left portion of your screen. Jesus the Frog, who has access to the Edgar already. Maybe he'll work his way down to Ancient Castle here soon, because we know, right now so far that's the only access to the other character that we have seen. So this character, this seed may be Daryl's tomb, and then into Ancient Castle.
Yeah, it could be. I guess we haven't seen Phoenix Cave. I don't think out of Locke's checks, but
No,
I
we
believe
have
that's
not.
it.
Yeah.
Which not my favorite check, but if you gotta do what you gotta do. I think I would honestly rather do the Edgar ones. You're getting 2 out of that plus a dragon versus the Phoenix Cave. No boss, 1 dragon, and it's a bit of a walk. It's you're spending your time how you're spending your time in these randomizers, but for some reason the ones where it's a 2-minute long walk just really get under my skin.
So an interesting thing Golden Shocker was doing there, by sleeping in that room. I was a little curious if it was. I know he just did it, but I don't think I've ever done that in the randomizer in Worlds Collide. I know a long time ago when I first started playing, as I took Shadow around and I slept in all the inns where you can get his story heal, not story heal, but his expanded story, just to see what would happen. But I think all of the text boxes from those are repurposed for the various checks and whatnot, so they're just reused resources. But I never thought of that, much less if I had thought of it, I would have tested it. I was wondering what is this gonna do? Was this gonna send him to the 7 story, send him to the roof, and flip a coin?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. you learn something or you see something new every day.
If that's the case, that is a order of magnitude higher thinking about this randomizer that I'm capable of doing in a race. That's really interesting.
Have you ever tried to go up in vector to the castle or the where Emperor style hangs out?
No, I don't believe so.
You should try it sometime.
Okay.
In your next Ultras League weekly
Right.
race
Yeah.
will be a great
Yeah.
time.
The
to
next
give
time
it a
I'm
go.
featured on Restream, I'll make sure to do that at the after I'm done with everything at like the 55-minute mark.
No, I do it
Let's
right
go
when
take
you
a look.
start. Yeah, do it right when you
Okay.
start. Yeah, make sure to talk to at least 27 of the soldiers.
So lots of action going on up here right now. Golden Shocker going through a dragon. Jesus the Frog taking care of a train. And Knuckly Kong trying to take down this Atma, causing a lot of trouble for our runners here.
Yeah, Atma's rolled some better stats with normalized distort. Stats you can't really see as far as magic and vigor and things like that. What is more noticeable is the HP total, but sometimes they do get higher offensive stats rolled with normalizing distort. So that could be what's going on here with this Atma. Yeah, and then sometimes you get the nasty combo if they get the nastier stats plus HP, and you really feel it.
Yeah, especially if all the good stuff gets shunted away or something like that into you run into a statue boss that's got like maxed out HP and defense or something absurd like that. Doesn't happen too often, but you never know exactly what's going on under the hood with some of these things, so it often feels like it's being a lot meaner to you than it should be allowed to be. Oh,
Yeah,
hey, free Valiant Knife there on the throne.
very nice. Yeah, we'll definitely start seeing the HP total or randomization come into effect on final kefka, especially when a lot of runners typically you're banking on sleep having 40,000 HP. Sometimes he has a little more, sometimes he has a little less. Sometimes he has a lot more, and it can really throw you for a loop when you're expecting to be through with that fight at that point in time. I guess Outer Butter's doing some Kefka at Narish action.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Kind of forgot about that one, actually. I suppose there could be a character there, too. I don't think anybody's gone up there.
Right, Knuckly Kong getting another rematch with Atma. Looks like Golden Shocker's going to do some Owser action. I like this because not only can you do the Owsers, you can totally ignore my advice or my thought process and not peek the shops, just keep going. Maybe Golden Shocker is feeling better about his offense than I think he is. And he is saying, I'm good to go.
Yeah, Golden Shocker's lock with that gauntlet is still doing huge damage with that Illumina, I think. Unless they've swapped over to something else at this point, but...
Yeah, he has access to
money right now first.
Plenty of Atma weapons. And remember, we need 7 characters and 11 Espers, so we're going to get a healthy amount of fights no matter what we do and don't do. So eventually there will come a point in time where those Atma weapons, really start to, reach that sweet point when you're really a high level.
Hey, there's Jumbo.
Just want to let you guys give an update on the other runners. All 3 of our off-stream runners have the double bird espers, so all of them are slowed. We got, what is he? One free fits at 6-5 and 2. Papashango is at 5-4 and 1. And Jex Frog back in the fight again, 4-4 and I believe 1.
Oh, nice.
See, yeah. I think Jesus the Frog right now, tons of Espers, has not found that realm yet, hasn't gone underground to get that, but they're going to be getting their 6th character here pretty soon. We'll see if they go after the faster ones rather than the Ozer's Mansion. So yeah, Golden Shocker got through that grind fight. Wasn't a ton of XP attached to it, but Utter Butter fighting the behemoth of many jokes. We'll see. It was not a character there at Kefka at Narsh, so it is looking more and more like a seed that's locked to either. I guess no. Well, you could get underground without getting Edgar, but
well, the only other spot the character could be that we don't know about now is
All right,
Phoenix
Phoenix
Cave.
Cave.
And it could even be to a point where we just saw Golden Shocker show us Owzers is not a character. And if that means if Esper Mountain, Realm's other check, is not a character, that means the seed is indeed Phoenix Cave gated. And the only way
That's
that we
true.
would be able to break that logic would be to do all of MTech, and MTech was a character.
Yeah, looking possible now. More so than earlier that going all the way through MTech might not have been a bad call, but certainly at this point, if I was Knuckly, I would much rather go through Phoenix Cave than trudge my way all through MTech again.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Knuckly doesn't go back to Magic Factory unless the seed tells him he has to, by virtue of, hey, all the other checks are exhausted. Now you got to go back there. But even then, that wasn't in logic, so I could comfortably say there's probably a 0% chance we could go all the way back and do that.
Yeah. Sorry, Jesus the Frog seems to have his fill of characters here.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, fill of dragons. Going to be possibly avoiding that. Golden Shocker did not get progression at the end of Owzers, I think.
Now that
I
realm
missed what it was, but
had Blitz.
oh,
Who have took that realm?
that's a pretty good realm.
Yeah.
I might have taken that. Orbital is not bad. It's not the best thing in the game, but Pearl Elemental attacks are pretty handy in every situation. Every situation except for the ones where they're not, and being able to fire it off for free with Realm, who typically has quite a bit of magic power. That's a good combo.
Yeah. Plus, when Bum Rush and Go-Go are match made in heaven, I would almost say Bum Rush is almost as powerful as Umaro, but again, that's a different discussion. We'll talk about that more in detail another day. But yeah, Bum Rush, we're going to probably end up level 42 some way somehow, no matter what. This is a very hostile White Dragon. My goodness. But
Yeah.
anywho, back to Bum Rush. We're going to end up level 42 most likely. And Bum Rush and Go-Go just go very well together. If you can't, if you mimic it, especially on the multi-tier bosses like tier 1 and tier 2 of Final Kefka, if you mimic where the Bum Rush goes, then you will hit the exact same spot. If what you can do is just put the input command with the blitz command, and it will target an entirely different spot, or even the same. It just resets the targeting. So it's almost a very quick and easy way to do like 15k with a character like Realm, and then a Go-Go following up right after it. It's access to a lot of damage very fast.
I want to mention that Knuckly Kong, the only one of any of our 7 runners that has not done the double bird.
Oh,
Nice.
interesting. They've got a pretty decent number of Espers too. I guess going through Magitech gave them a couple of rocks that didn't result in increasing that particular objective.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of, where was one of those? He's done Search the Skies. He hasn't made his way through the Sapphire. Okay, so maybe one of them's there. So I think he'll get it eventually.
Yeah, it seems like it's tough to avoid. Everybody else got it pretty early on. Oh, Chatternook causing a lot of problems for Golden Shocker, but manages to take care of it with everybody up and about.
Very nice.
Actually, never mind. He does have it. My bad.
All right. The birds have struck back. That if you're from outside of the United States, if you're not familiar with Thanksgiving, basically yesterday in the United States and some of the surrounding area, we ate a lot of birds, and it's only fitting that some of those birds get a little bit of revenge, even in the digital world. So the runners had it coming after what we did yesterday.
Yeah, if you eat 2 whole birds, your speed gets reduced by 20. We all know it. It happens to all of us. You don't have to be an American for that to happen to you. Don't eat 2 birds at the same time, just 1. Yeah, that Ifrit Esper having Ultima on it, not coming up too much. Not a whole lot of magic being thrown around in this seed in general, but really nice to have that big blue bubble there in the background as a just in case.
Yep, and that was Gao at Esper Mountain, realm's
Yes.
other check. So what Golden Sucker is doing now, he has access to dried meat. He is heading on over to the belt. One of Gao's checks just revolves walking around, finding a character after a fight. You throw some dried meat at it, and it agrees to join you. And his other is in that little cave right there. Golden Sucker is walking back and forth in front of the Serpent Trench.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. So that's one of the awkward things about when you find Gao later in the seed instead of earlier, is that the belt is mucked up and has a lot of things on it that you don't want to deal with, and White Dragon happens to be one of them. And
This is such a strange decision in like the base game too, that this guy can just show up here.
yeah, he is the exact same as his fight that we fought him down in Ancient Castle, but we don't get all of that experience. We don't get all those ability points this time. We just fight him, and then hopefully the reward appears behind him.
I think you do well. I guess unless the reward appears, but I think you do at least get the magic points.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, no, not this time.
Nope, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, Knuckly Kong gonna go get their Edgar. Hopefully, help them open up the rest of the seed here. Golden Shocker picking up Siren, not a bad find. That is a good Esper to have in your back pocket for the end of the game.
Yeah. Siren's kind of like a half bird because they got wings, but not necessarily fully feathered. Golden Sucker's at that weird point where he knows Serpent Trench is probably a character. Well, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he hasn't done all of the checks everybody else has done. But yeah. Golden Sucker is very much aware of what you can and can't do with Wyvern moves, so this could be a good time for him to do what Knuckly Khan did earlier. Hop on into Magitech Factory, do fights 1 and 2, because those can only be Espers, and start rounding out your requirements that way.
Yeah, not a bad idea. This is a point where Golden Shocker is going to want to try to take a lot of sure things. Peekable checks or ones where you know you're not going to get a character out of it. Oh, right, Fun Baba. I forgot who the boss was in your way for this, and I believe they do use Baba Breath at the end. It's that version, but this is a character, so that doesn't really matter too terribly much.
All right, Outer Butter making his way on down to Zonir, which we know was an Esper. Jesus the Frog is getting it on with Chatternook. I believe that Esper Mountain, so this will be his Gao. Will be his reward, so he'll be right back on Golden Sucker's trails. Actually, one Esper ahead. Yeah, if Knuckly Kong can just make the right plays here, go in the correct order, he can very quickly end up with the correct amount of Espers and characters for anybody else does.
Yeah, this is still not a set in stone game just yet. There's a lot of people in roughly the same level of progression. I think everybody, Utter Butter is just a couple notches back, but I think everybody else is at the exact same one. There's a few more dragons floating around on the bottom side of the screen, but other than that.
Yeah, another good indicator of who's ahead in the seed is levels.
Yes.
And everybody, save for the few characters that have, dropped a little bit and not made it through all of the fights, are about the same level across the various runners on the screen. So this is about as neck and neck as you could hope for in a race. We know progression's out there. We know we've all been flying around it, dancing around it a little bit. Yeah, nobody's really pulled ahead. Nobody has a commanding lead in progression on the level. So it's very much a tightly contested race.
And it looks like Utter Butter is heading down into the Figaro Underground. Going to get their realm and a rock down there. Put them at 6, 7, and 1 dragon. Here in about 5-10 minutes or so.
All right, Jesus the Frog is why we're moving into Magitech Factory, which we know is Esper 8 and 9 for him. Do you think he's gonna go all the way through and do the end of it, or do you think he's gonna bolt out after number 1 and number 2?
I'd be interested to see him go all the way through. We know where there's a character at, but I think if you're in Jesus the Frog situation, even if it's an Esper at the end of it, that's still good for you. That's still, you're not at that limit yet. But if there's character at the end of it, that could be even better. We know Gao is available, but Gao's checks are pretty variable in how long they can take. For example, you could run into Katana Soul in the river. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but
if he does a couple more clean sleeps, it might be a bad thing.
It
But
does
no, this
extra
is
damage if you're
fantastic.
underwater, right?
clean sweep.
No, that's how Bolt works. But no, this is amazing. Not just for the offering itself, but Golden Shocker is now about to get a war chest full of GP for this.
Yes.
So that makes all of the the consumable strugglings he's been doing throughout the seed, all that vanishes now. Because now he'll have more than enough GP to buy everything, anything he can want comfortably, or even just go buy more snow mufflers or more Genji armors or circlets or whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, this would be very good for his Magus Hat fund. As Jesus the Frog takes care of that first boss, gets themselves a rock.
Alright, he's on his way to the number 24 spot. Golden Shocker has one more fight before he works his way out of the trench. Looks like Knuckly Kong. Ooh.
I completely missed this. My apologies. But Jesus the Frog had found Gao earlier. I completely missed that. But so now the prospect of going all the way through is quite a bit different. I'm not sure if I would do it if I had 7 characters.
Yeah, Jesus the Frog is very much aware of what's waiting for him on the belt. He took on the White Dragon when he was down in Ancient Castle, so he knows that can appear there. Plus all the other encounters that you have fought. Plus the Lobo fight will be there, and if he's not feeling great about everything he's fought, he knows very much live and well that fading the belt may be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw the White Dragon fight that Golden Shocker had to deal with, which managed to get through it, but it wasn't a pleasant time. Also, I suppose there's a chance that Jesus the Frog has not found dried meat. We just saw some in Nakia, which is one of the funnier jokes that this game will play on you, is putting the dried meat in that particular item shop, but might not be as prevalent besides that, as Jesus Frog gets their 9th Esper.
Let me ask you a question, Tersman. You are a very well-cultured individual.
Oh, okay.
What do you think of this idea? It's more of a worlds collide. I wouldn't say idea, but like a request. What about a flag when you activate and trigger free shops? Are you greatly reduce the price of shops, like barter shops and whatnot? If you make a bunch of NPCs appear in all of the towns to kind of create the havoc of Black Friday. Like you go to Walmart and everybody's fighting for the TV.
Right. Yeah.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah. Everybody
what do you
wants the
think about
$45 television.
Yeah.
I think that's awful.
Mhm.
That's a terrible thing to do to another human being, and really, really raises my eyebrows on the quality of your character.
All right, I'll table that idea for another day. I'll take the.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
I think that was an offering Illumina set up there from Locke. I think that was a mistake. Either that's a mistake or Golden Shocker's about to show us, something we never thought of before.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay, yeah, you must have optimized, yeah.
So it looks like Jesus the Frog is heading all the way through.
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see what's at the end of this, but that's maybe not what I would have done.
Yeah, we know where 3 of the nastier bosses are. They're waiting in the tower, right at the end for us in that spot we call the statue spots. But there are some other friendly guys out there who we'd love to see. Some of which are Guardian, Magimaster, Doomgaze, and what's another good one there, Turdsman?
I mean, Goddess is fun, especially when you have an Illumina user out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Piranhas are funny. in most situations, provided I'm not actually playing the game. Yeah, oof, Atma, once again, causing huge trouble for our runners here. Golden Shocker trying to deal with these Mertens.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when a runner comes. This this Atmo just must have rolled really, really high stats with the distortion, because everybody's come here at so many different points throughout the seed, only to get Atmud in the face. So he just must have been very, very blessed with fantastic stats.
Yeah, this is tough. Knuckly Kong, I will say, definitely becoming the people's champion. Umaro is still in the team, swinging around that lightsaber. Which I really like doing this with Umaro. It stinks to not have be able to control him, but one of my favorite things to do with Umaro is if you can equip the Atma weapon, a force shield, and a decent hat, you can put him in the front row and he is functionally invincible. Like, his defense is maxed out, his magic defense is at like 230 or something stupid. Plus he's got that shell. I love doing that with this guy.
If you could pick an ideal weapon for Umaro to wear Tursman, what would be that weapon?
Oh, definitely Atma weapon. I don't want to have to baby him at low HP with the Valiant Knife. And as fun as it is giving him the ultimate blade of Holy Moonlight, handing him a Ragnarok or an Illumina, just you're leaving damage on the table when you do that.
All right, Golden Shocker bringing everybody back to the party one by one. That is an
access
extra
to Cure 3.
Yeah.
Hey, it worked out for him.
So there is no character at the end of MTech, or excuse me, at the end of Serpent Trench and MTech. That means if there is a small but not 0% chance that we may have to go to Phoenix Cave after all.
Kefka at Narsh was an Esper, so
yeah,
Phoenix Cave is going to be...
Well, if we really wanted 8 characters, we had to go to Phoenix Cave.
Right. But also, I mean, Utterbutter hasn't found that Gao yet, so much more likely that you're going to be going through Realms checks than doubling back to one of Locke's worst ones. But there could still be something, maybe Terra's in there, who knows? Could be something really incredible, but we probably won't find out. Yeah, Knuckly Kong, this White Dragon is nasty for everybody too. It must have also gotten some pretty decent stats, as I think that's a wipe for Golden Shocker.
Yeah, unless you can absorb it. Yeah. Ooh. Atma. Atma is
MVP of this one.
Yeah. I know, one of the runners will technically be the champion tonight, but my goodness, Atma has been the MVP.
It's
that one.
That one American gladiator that everybody remembers the name of. Nitro or whatever.
So Jesus the Frog is he just found dried meat in the shop. It's a bummer he's not going to go through the trench now, because then he would miss out on that free offering that's waiting for him down there. But nevertheless, this will be his 11th Esper, and he will be in gold mode.
Yeah, I wonder, I haven't seen Jesus the Frog's levels in a little bit, but I'd be curious where they're at, because that's, with the normalize and distort, you probably want to be a little bit juicier than you normally would be going into the end. And I think Jesus the Frog just ran into White Dragon, because they said, nope.
I will note
I don't want that one.
Nobody, not even the off-screen people, have gone to Phoenix Cave yet.
That's fantastic.
And why would you go into the Phoenix Cave on this turkey race?
I mean,
the birds are back for revenge.
Right, yeah, that's where they live, right? You don't want to go to their domain. That's the whole point. They're going to know what you did.
All right.
Hey, General and Pipsqueak. That's substantially easier to deal with.
Yeah, we'll just take that every day instead of the repeat White Dragon fight. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. At what point do you think Jesus Frog may just pop into the trench?
Oh, well, this doesn't matter. I got excited seeing Gigantos for a minute, but 3, I think. After you do 3, it starts to feel like sunk cost fallacy.
right,
Thankfully, doesn't have to deal with that at all.
Nope, very fortunate. We don't get that big, juicy Gigantos experience, but we had a fast and easy way to deal with the guy, and that is Esper number 11. All right, so interesting question as we touched on earlier. Jesus the Frog's levels situation, he is in the high 30s, 38 across the board. Atma weapon, or excuse me, Atma claiming yet another victim.
Oh, so yeah, 38 is a good spot to go into Kefka's Tower in a Ultros League seed. However, in this particular case, I might want to take an extra dragon or two before going in there, just to get everybody up over the 40s. Not having the realm with Blitz is unfortunate, but I think there's plenty of offense going around.
Now he can't do a full right lane clear because he does have access to warp stones.
That's true.
So what he can do is take his entire party through the full right side of the tower. The two other party members or two other parties will avoid any encounters. That will give all of his party members levels, plus allow him to deal with some of the potential nasty fights waiting for him with a full complement of party members. And then you just warp out, split the party into teams of two, or the functional party members into teams of two, and give it another try. This is great news, though. He's going to get access to an offering now if he can make it through this dragon fight. Because he's not feeling good about his levels, he's going to make the Opera Dragon, and then we know by virtue of a few other runners what's here, and that is an offering.
Very nice.
Yep, and Golden Shocker is going to grind some more levels, it looks like, before he does that Atma fight again.
Oh, it looks like he's heading up towards Kefka and Harsh. Which we do at least know that that's an Esper, so it will be something that Golden Shocker will be able to use. Although I think at this point they're probably wanting to see a Sabin, a Cyan, a Terra, somebody with a bunch of checks that they can go and do instead of the ones they have sitting in front of them.
No, I think if that Atma weapon, or excuse me, that Atma, he doesn't know because we don't get access to the check before if it's a character or Esper now. So maybe he's doing this twofold. One, just going somewhere else for a little bit. Two, all of these little soldiers that are popping up on your screen are technically farmable.
That's true.
So if you pop a few of those, and if you like what the green guys are offering, or if you like what the brown soldiers have to offer, then you can farm those a little bit. But nope, looks like he just wants what the bird has.
Sorry, quick update for you guys. We have one free fits at 7, 8, and 3. Actually, sorry, quick update on them. 7, 9, and 3. Jex Varrock is at 6 and 6, and only one dragon still. Papa Shango, 6 Espers, 6 characters, 3 dragons, currently doing a center lane dive into Kefka.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
like
meanwhile,
that.
Jesus the Frog not doing any full lane clears with a full party. They're separating them regular style, putting Go-Go over on the right. We'll see how that works out. They're around level 40, which isn't too bad, but might, depending on how the normalize and distort shakes out for them.
Now he does have Setzer in one party, and his Edgar and Locke spread out. So what he does have access to is that offering Atma, or the offering fixed dice setup, which is fantastic statue solving setups. Along with the flame shield he can pass around, so he does have solutions to the various problems the statues have to offer.
Yeah, is that something that you focus on when you're heading up into the tower? Like, who's going to go into what group?
Oh, most definitely. Also, when you come across things that can ignore defense,
Yes.
the 3 most pertinent ones, the weapon that are the Valiant Knife and the fixed dice. It's always advised to peek who can wear things like that, because even though you may not want someone doing fixed dice, throughout the entirety of the seed, If you can get them in a 1v1 fight where it's offering versus fixed dice versus whoever, eventually, as long as the levels are within each other, eventually that fixed dice offering user will get through. It may take a few tries, but they'll get through.
Yeah, having something that you can hit anybody with is really handy. If you got something better to throw at them, congratulations. But having some fixed dice, having and I think all three of those weapons are accessible to the party that everybody's using as well. There's a lot of Atma weapons floating around. There's a couple of fixed dice, a couple of Valiant knives, handful of offerings. This is a really physical seed, despite there being an Ultima that everybody found pretty early.
By Ultima, do you mean that Atma, or do you mean the Ultima spell?
The spell.
Okay.
I think it was on
Speaking of
Ifrit, I believe.
speaking of Atma weapon, my goodness, his cousins in the tower repping Havoc as well, but not quite as scary so far. Yeah, it looks like what Jesus the Frog plan is for his statue lanes is that what I imagine he's going to Octo Atma weapon each of the fights. So as you can see there, that's 16,000 damage in one turn with his Setzer, and if he can just pass that around.
Yeah, it's working out pretty well. It's a classic. Everybody loved doing it back in the day for a reason. You steal that last Atma weapon and you just double swing lightsabers at Final Kefka. Gogo, unfortunately, tried to do backup with GP Rain, but Jesus the Frog is broke, fully out of money.
Yeah, most of the bosses in Worlds Collide do not give access to any more GP. So, and we already know the Marshall fight, which is the one boss fight that gives you a decent amount. We know it's not in here, so he's going to be no more GP Rain for him.
Knuckly Kong making a bold play, heading into the Phoenix Cave. This is exciting. I'm glad we get to see what's in here, so we can get kind of an idea of sort of an alternate possibility that this seed could have taken. Still pretty close to their requirements for Final Kefka, so I'm not sure if this is going to really break the door open for Knuckly, but if it's a character that means that they can get a really quick Esper afterwards, then I'd say this was probably worth it.
Oh, it has to be a character, because remember both the Gau's stuff.
Oh, you're right.
So which character do you think it is?
I guess it'd be pretty funny if it was Celeste. It'd be even funnier if it was, I guess, Strago. But I don't know. I think this one's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Nora. I'm gonna go with Sabin.
I'm gonna go Celeste. It only makes sense that it is Daryl's Tomb, Ancient Castle, Phoenix Cave gated. So I'm gonna go with Celeste here. Because if it's Celeste, that means the next character has to be in the Opera House.
It cannot be Celeste because the last check on the Magitech is the Esper. So unless it is Opera House, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it might be But that's I think what we're thinking. Which that would be really dirty. So it's practically a one-way road, like halfway through your character progression, if that's the case.
Yeah, because there can't be a character at South Figueroa Basement because of no pre-progression. We know it's not at Magitech Factory, so if it is Celeste, that is a good quality troll right there.
I'm calling Cyan. I'm saying it's Cyan.
Cyan would work too. Yeah, and Gao's line didn't have any characters in it either. That was two Espers.
All right, Knuckly Kong can take the Red Dragon if he is so inclined. Jesus the Frog is pushing around some 4-ton weights. He is almost to the switches, and he will begin his 1+, the Guardian fight, which cannot be a statue, and then the real final boss of this game, or this seed at least, the statues.
Because those are shuffled amongst themselves, correct?
Yep.
So they're going to be the statues, and they're going to be normalized and/or distorted as well, which could be good, could be bad, probably going to be bad.
You would think with how much stats got rolled into that one Atma that there'd be none left to pass around. But,
right? Yeah.
Surprised.
Yeah, that Atma was a hungry boy. Ate up everybody's magic power. Oh, Knuckly Kong, using
Oh,
Bio on Blue Dragon. Very interesting play. The
Ooh.
Blue Dragon can be poisoned.
Do you know what this means, Turdsman?
Oh, hey, yeah, this means
Yeah.
that Jesus the Frog is finally going to get his speed back.
Yep.
That's probably that's going to feel real good.
That's gonna feel fantastic. Yeah, so this is one of the two birds, and we know Spicy Chicken is right behind him somewhere. So we thought we did the birds a solid and let them get some revenge, but it turns out, they're back on the dinner table.
So Utterbutter heading through Jador, getting their 8th Esper, Ragnarok from that fight. Knuckly Kong taking out another dragon, getting a 2nd Valiant Knife.
Yeah, he can Octo Valiant Knife now, which is just as nice as the Octo Atma weapon.
5 dragons under his belt too, so Knuckly's taking a little bit longer getting into the tower, but once they get there, they're going to be real tough.
Mm-hmm. And Golden Shocker, looks like Golden Shocker is going to give Phoenix Cave the old peekaboo here as well. Yeah, so moment of truth. Knuckly's going to show us what character number 8, well, character number 7 for them, but character number 8 overall is.
And this is interesting. Cyan, wow, good job.
Boo.
Saberwolf, nailing it.
Whoop! I was not looking at the offline people. They have never done Phoenix Cave. I was a 100% call on that one.
We have a signed affidavit. We got the notary public in here. We're gonna put a big stamp on it. Legit. Then, okay, Jesus the Frog running into this guy. We got the nasty Carolina style chicken.
Yep.
This might be a little bit too much for for a Thanksgiving spread. I think usually, you want the more base flavors. You're not really looking for a lot of spice in your Thanksgiving turkey. But can't avoid it, unfortunately. Knuckly Kong heading on over to the Doma Castle.
Very nice. I would say Poltergeist is kind of like, the turkey that got a mix of some cranberry mixed into it, because he's not quite all the way, red.
Oh. Terra with Magitech here in... Oh, boy, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. A little too late there, but... oh, my goodness, that's a crane sighting.
That could have been really interesting. So Golden Shocker going to be collecting their Cyan at the end here. Probably not going to be too happy to see it. I would imagine might do the same thing that Knuckly is doing here. Going to go find that Terra behind this Cyan. Not 100% certain if that's the thing to take, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Jesus the Frog, sets are getting bullied by that Poltergeist. Got a good 65k hit in with the Valiant Knife before he went down, but we'll see. If doesn't need it, Go-Go takes care of business.
Yeah, normally the max scaling of the seat is 50, and around that spot, Poltergeist has around 43k-ish HP. He appears to be rolled just a little bit short of that, so that's pretty fortunate for our runner, or Jesus the Frog, plus future runners that will come across him. Because Poltergeist in a 1v1 scenario, or a 2v1, as you saw there, is really, really one of the scarier fights in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can do a lot of nasty stuff. It's not so much the damage, although in Normalize and Distort it was. That Flare Star was doing a whole lot of work, but Poltergeist is much scarier due to the Stop and Blaster combo that he does. He can just completely negate a character, and, potentially even nastier than that, can just ice them out right away afterwards if you don't have the safety bit or the memento ring equipped, which you probably don't. It's Golden Shocker picking up their Cyan as Jesus of Frog's Edgar is going to be taking on Doom.
Yeah, and pretty fortunate that the Luminaware is on this side, because one, Doom is weak to Pearl, so all of those Illumina procs will be coming very much helpful here, as opposed to the Goddess side where they would be no bueno. Looks like Utterbutter got the memo that Phoenix Cave is the place to be, and he's heading on in there as well.
Yeah, everybody jumping in. Jesus the Frog, interestingly enough, making the right call in going all the way through Magitech facility. Got their last Esper. If Knuckly had done the same thing, they would be sitting at 8 and 11 right now.
Yeah, but remember, Knuckly had a number of characters go down, and he was limited on his resources. So he was
That's true.
in one of those scenarios where even if he had pushed, it was no guarantee he would have got through it with the fights we knew. And then, in the back of his mind, he's one bad fight away from not being able to finish the thing.
Papa
And, oh, no.
Shango just got KT unlocked, just dived in.
Jesus the Frog was fortunate the Illumina blocked the first attack, but not the second one. And yeah, you can't survive a 5,000 damage Demon Rage when you only have 2,000 HP. So Jesus the Frog is going to need a few more blocks here.
Yeah, get a little bit luckier. Meanwhile, Golden Shocker heading into Doma Dream. Did they even check the Doma Castle Siege, or did they just go straight here? Because that's a smart play. Your first two checks at the Doma Dream are, well, the first one, I suppose. You can't get the second one until all the way at the end.
They did not
but
check
Siege.
That's... They did not.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he needs 3 more Espers, and he knows
Yeah.
Dream can be a handful of Espers, so that in itself. Get the big chunk and then go run out your requirements that way. Because what if this is 3 Espers, right?
Exactly.
And you don't have to do Doma Siege whatsoever, but if you do Doma Siege and this is 3 Espers, you did a check you need to do, so.
Utterbutter opting to shut the spikes off. I do like this in this particular case, since it's a lot harder to heal your party up, and Utterbutter probably wants to take on that dragon so that this walk doesn't result in absolutely 0 XP gain.
And that is 0 for 2 for Jesus the Frog on that Doom spot. Looks like he may be doing a little bit of shuffling around, get that Atma set up over there. Now he does have access to an Aura Lance because he's defeated Spicy Chicken already.
And both horn and a boot.
Yeah. So if he wanted to, he can jump over a lot of the nastier things Doom can throw at him.
Meanwhile, Knuckly Kong finding their last Esper at the Terra Welk check, I believe that was, and is doing a little bit of last-minute shopping before they are going to be heading into the tower after Jesus the Frog. No skips in this one, if I'm not mistaken. So you gotta walk up the tower.
Yeesh, that Atma offering setup. Not doing what you want when you don't have a full HP setup.
So Realm on X Potion duty here, keeping Edgar up and running, but should be able to get through here with a couple of lucky targets. That's not quite what you want to see.
No, he in his first attempt, he triggered the second half of the fight when he did about, I think, 18,000-ish worth damage. So that means this Doom can't possibly have more than 36k worth of HP. So that means we need to do about 36k worth of damage. It's going to be really tough without the other character alive, because when Doom acts, since we can't absorb ice attacks, we either A, need to block the attack, or B, hope he does or a Northern Cross and it doesn't damage us, because absolute 0 or his punches are just going to, absolutely wipe out the damage our Atma weapon is doing.
There are ice shields in the Coliseum, by the way.
Yeah, Knuckly's heading there right now. Going to be picking up a couple things. Ice shield would be really handy here. Red jacket would too, honestly. Oh, no, nothing in that list for Knuckly there.
Hey,
Gonna go ahead and get a
red jacket, yeah.
Yeah, let's get a jacket. It's a nice jacket. So yeah, Jesus the Frog gonna have to look around a little bit, find their Aura Lance. There we go.
There we go. So yeah, this is a great idea.
Yeah, just keep him out of there. You got the gauntlet to do big gobs of damage. And now you don't have to worry about keeping him at full health either.
Yep. We can, because he has that jump already, that horn, we'll just do so much more damage. So this should go, and not guaranteed to work, but this should go a lot better for Jesus the Frog here, I think. Assuming he doesn't get frozen on the first turn. So as I
Why
was
did you
saying,
do that? Man.
All right.
So, still a good plan. That didn't count.
Yeah, don't let the results deter you from a good plan. All right, just stick to the good plan. We got this. You can't freeze this every turn. It's a 1 in 3 chance on turn number 1. So 1 in 3 is not 100%, despite it feeling like it here. But we got this.
So Golden Shocker got 3 Espers out of that Dome of Dream. Very good, lucky strike for him there. He's gonna be. Oh, it happened twice.
All right, so it can't happen every time.
Okay.
Every time. Okay, I can mathematically guarantee you it will not happen this time. Right. If it happens right now to Jesus the Frog, I will donate Turdsman's next paycheck to a charity.
Is it the amount of my paycheck or the literal paycheck itself?
Oh no, we'll call your employer and we'll just forward it on over to the Red Cross. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it, but guaranteed not to happen. I know Northern Cross just came out, but it's not gonna freeze them.
Okay.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
Man, that is extremely rough luck.
Yeah. The good news is that that's probably the best first turn that can happen is Northern Cross coming out and it not damaging whatsoever. That's about 13k. So yeah, this Northern Cross won't hit either. Don't worry about it. All right. Well, I tried my best.
By the way, off screen here, we do have Papa Shango just starting up on the Spacey Chicken statue here. So closing in behind on Knuckly Kong. We have Papa Shango who cleared out the entire middle lane for the Kefka's Tower. He's currently on the Velt. They are 7, 7, and 5 dragons.
Wow.
And we have Juxie in the background, slowly catch up with everybody else. 6 characters, 10 espers. Only one. Nope, I'm sorry. 1, 2, maybe 3 dragons. I'm not sure. He uses the old tracker, so.
I do really like the heavy dragon use in this seed. You know you're going to be running into some bonkers numbers with some of these bosses, so having those extra 4 or 5 levels by the end that you wouldn't otherwise if you hadn't done 5 dragons instead of 2, for example, like in Knuckly Kong's case here.
Yeah, Papa Shango did a full clear of mid lane, did a crossover, and got the extra dragons. So you did both dragons and the Toilet Atma as well.
All right, so this attempt going much better for Jesus the Frog. He is way past the 50% threshold here to trigger the second half of this Doom fight. If he can get 3, possibly if he gets 4 jumps, the fight's for sure over. But I think it's over if he gets a 3 jumper here.
Meanwhile, Utterbutter going through the dream as well. Definitely the right call after you find that Cyan.
All right, this is attempt number 7 on Doom for Jesus the Frog. Golden Shocker has made his way up to the Inferno fight where he is fighting at the weapon. His arch nemesis brother, so he'll get a little bit of revenge on the Finley here, but not the true villain. Looks like Jesus the Frog is doing a little shifting around on some equipment. Maybe load up Edgar with maybe load up Realm with a little bit more going on.
Oh, interesting. Not a bad idea. Give her make it so that she doesn't just eat it immediately, so that hopefully can hang around to put a couple extra points of damage on Doom.
Question for our Elixir level commentators here. At what point do you say, you know what? I need to back off. Let's try to get Goddess down, and then we'll come back for this later.
Oh yeah, that's good thinking. I might do that. I might do that if I'm feeling a little tilted, which I probably would be after the 5th consecutive Northern Cross landing on my 1 damage dealer.
Well, I think this is Jesus's 7th, 8th attempt at this now, I think?
Yeah, this is fight number 8. The thing is, though, is that Edgar is probably the best character to go after this, unless you want to go all the way back out and put, your full party up against it, which It's a tough prospect at this point. Bailing out all that far because you don't know where everybody else is at right now. Like you're playing Golden Shocker, you're playing Knuckly Kong, you're playing Papa Shango. You might want to just push it through it because it's like Jesus is getting close here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Realm isn't going down this time around, so at the very least, an extra body on the floor is going to be really helpful.
Fits through Spicy Chicken.
Nice. And if Jesus the Frog gets this jump off, this should do it.
Yeah, I think they got it this time. Yeah, the trick is just sometimes you got to make your extra little Moogle charm fodder. Sometimes you got to make them pull their weight a little bit.
Yep, and he is through. Those last two jumps I don't even think were necessary, but nevertheless, yeah. Yeah,
maybe not necessary, but you gotta show this thing that he can't push you around the way he has been.
He was batting 1,000 against you, so you might as well rub it in a little bit when you finally get through him.
Yeah.
I do see Jesus on screen. He's the only one that also streams his camera. He's like, "Yep, finally, thank God."
All right, so back to the aluminum gauntlet setup for his Edgar sleeping bag, and he just has the Goddess Fight left to deal with, which with access to his lock, his offering BK, or his off wrapper, whatever he wants to do over there, he should have no problem with whatsoever.
And Utterbutter getting their 3 Esper Dream done, and they're now at 8 and 11, probably going to be heading into Kefka's Tower here in a little bit. Looks like they're going to go after a Dragon 2 first. Not a bad idea.
Nope, not a bad idea at all.
You gotta know.
Yeah. Golden Shocker getting his +2 speed back. And Jesus the Frog should have a much better go of it with this Goddess Fight with his Valiant Knight offering setup.
Yeah. Uh-oh, forgot to do the Valiant Knight offering setup.
No.
I feel that.
Oh no.
And I think I saw a Thunder Shield. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it was Thunder Rod, but... So not too much right now, but once Locke starts taking some damage, this will really start popping off. Meanwhile, Golden Shocker getting through the Guardian spot, which I think is leader. Who cares?
Yeah.
Gonna start with their statue fights here. See how Poltergeist treats them. Knuckly finally gets into the tower, making their way up.
Yeah, the good news with that Tri-Talk being in that first spot, everybody probably at this point in time either found the Valiant Knives or offerings.
Mm-hmm.
If I think there's Fire 2 on a handful of Vespers, everybody should have a nice, easy way to get through that first fight and get access to the save points before they begin this treacherous road ahead of them.
Yeah. There's enough offense out there that can take care of this.
And Jesus the Frog is through his Goddess Fight. Took 10 less attempts, fewer attempts in the Doom fight, so that feels pretty good for him, I bet. Yep. Did Golden Shocker tent, or did he wipe somewhere?
No, I think he tented. Maybe he tented.
It's just starting Kefka.
Oh, he wiped the Poltergeist. Okay.
Oh.
All right, so off screen, we have one of our community race runners, One Free Fits, beginning his final Kefka fight. Jesus the Frog will be shortly behind him. A few runners on screen racing through Kefka's Tower to catch up to them. If you are just tuning in, this is our second ever turkey race celebration extravaganza. Last year we did the same thing, which Golden Shocker clobbered the field, but this year it looks like the field is clobbering Golden Shocker, getting a little bit of a payback for the trouncing he did last year. But still not out of it. He is at the statues fight. With the way some things have gone, this final fight is not guaranteed. Because remember, even the final fight, normalize and distort will apply to.
Yeah, one free fits still might not, playing off screen, still might not take the whole thing if Jesus the Frog can slip through these tiers a little bit faster than them.
Yeah, we know Jesus the Frog full party put together is very, very, very strong. Gonna make short work of anything. It's just when you're compromised against some of the tougher bosses, when you are split and spread out, that's when things got dicey for him.
Mm-hmm. Which that's the fear in general with Kefka Tower. You know, you want to make sure that each one of your characters could theoretically take on a boss solo, but with normalize and distort up and out, then you have no idea what that's actually going to look like. For example, Golden Shocker here, getting Edgar bullied pretty bad.
Yeah. We know we have a snow muffler that a few people can wear, but not everybody can wear it. And with a good chunk of our offense being front row based, that just means that short arm, doesn't have to reach quite as far to hit our targets.
And they were available in shops as well, so I'm not sure if it was just something that our runners thought they would go back to it later, or maybe they just didn't want to pick up too many at the time. There was something better for them to use their money on. Who knows? But snow mufflers are ideal. If you can put them on anybody, you want to put them on somebody.
Yeah, and out of the starting party members, I think it was only Yamaro who could wear one. Plus, he already has one on him. But
so Edgar, he's got a Valiant Knife here, so I think if Edgar can get one more attack off, should be able to take out this Poltergeist.
Alright, so Jesus the Frog working his way through Tier 1. Luckily he has Life 2 to take care of that down block. I thought he was going to end the fight there, and he had overqueued, but fortunately that didn't end the fight for him. And Golden Chucker, as Tersman said, is through Poltergeist, is through Spicy Chicken. He has 2 more statue fights to go.
Knuckly Kong getting messed up by this Dirt Dragon here. This will be Knuckly Kong's 7th dragon that he has fought this seed. Really not letting any of the level math to chance here.
Would you consider the dragons a bird? Some of them have feathers, so...
I mean, there is that whole, like,
Names.
did dinosaurs evolve into birds thing
Yeah.
that's been going on lately, so...
I
Maybe
think
this one, yes.
this one, yes. Okay.
Maybe not the white dragon. That looks a little bit more like something else is going on there.
Well, I think the white dragon has like feathers on its wings, so
Does it?
I think that's like feathers on the top of it, or maybe that's just like the cartilage coming together. Who definitely you could qualify as a bird though is Kefka himself, because his wings definitely have feathers.
Yes.
Yeah. So. All right, Jesus the Frog working his way through tier number 2. Little dragon action going on the left side of your screen, and Golden Stalker is beginning his Doom fight. Hopefully this goes better for him than it went for Jesus the Frog.
Yeah, we'll see. The correct guy did not get frozen, but they did have a lot of trouble with Poltergeist, whereas Jesus the Frog, I think, got through that one quite a bit quicker. We'll see if Golden Shocker can't make up a little bit of time here.
Yeah, this is where I think we found a few of the runners found Mega Elixirs, but this is where, oh my goodness, that's a Valiant Knife. Oh no. A little friendly fire happening on Jesus the Frog Seed. Bad news for him, but good news for everybody else chasing him. My goodness, was that dangerous. But luckily he had access to a few Revivify, but he is out of it. But not fully out of it. He's out of the zombie phase, but not out of the full I am about to die phase.
Thankfully, he does have access to Life 2. Going to bring up Go-Go, who can cast any spell that the rest of the party knows. Try to keep everybody up and about while he gets through this last little phase here. Thankfully, along the way, Locke did manage to take care of a couple of the parts. So not taking 4 attacks per turn right now as Jesus the Frog tries to get everybody back up.
Fitz at tier 3.
Did Golden Shocker not save after his Poltergeist Feist and wiped on Doom?
Looks like it,
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
thinking.
there it is again. Uh-oh, this might not play out the way that... Oh, no.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
These statues are tough. This is... they're tough normally, you know, they're especially having them shuffled as opposed to mixed in with Gen Pop, because they're going to be as strong as they possibly could by the time you run into them.
Mhm.
And in this particular case, because of Normalize and Distort, they're even stronger.
Jesus the Frog, a few more pieces of tier 2 left for him. The 2 with death counters, by the way. The guy up front, his name is Hit. And when you kill him, he does this move called 10 hits. The name is in the description.
Yeah,
It will
you
attack
get what
you
it
10
says on the
times.
tin.
Yeah. You don't have to read the ingredients to know what you're cooking with there. Doesn't hurt too much, but if a little RNG doesn't go your way and he hits the guy you don't want him to hit 4 or 5 times, then, well, you'll put some respect on his name. And the bat guy, we call him Magic. He can cast Quarter and Dispel a handful of times when you take him down. So, a few death counters here, but throw it all out the book. Throw the window out the book. We are on to tier 3 for Jesus the Frog.
Yeah, not too terrible. I have seen 10 hit, I think, smack one character 8 times in a row, but I think that's the limit. I haven't seen a full 10 hits on somebody with that thing.
Now,
Tier
this
3 is a little bit scarier, though, in
yeah,
my opinion.
This is where Normalize and Distort is the funnest thing around. Normally on tier 3, you are banking on things going a certain way at a certain time, but with those HP totals being shuffled and distorted, what you are expecting may not be what you see. And this is where things get interesting fast for Jesus the Frog and our other runners.
Okay, Utter Butter just scared me. They
Yeah, he was-
used the Y remove on the weight, and I didn't... You know, usually it comes back when you leave and come back in, but I wasn't certain if that was going to be happening or not. Thankfully, they avoided the soft lock.
It's all right. He's learning. I think this is his first Y remove seed.
Yeah.
You're fine as long as you can exit the room, but there are a few spots you can't exit the room, like, you know, the minecart ride with Sid's waiting to push
Yep.
you. Or
Minecart Ride and the Phantom Train Ghost are the 2 that I know the most.
Yep.
All runners, by the way, now have unlocked. Papa Shango was the last one to do it. Of course, they did Kefka early on. One free Fitz. Moving on to Final Kefka K4. However, they did lose their lock in the process.
Yeah, they were using similar Valiant Knife strats to everybody else, so that's a pretty huge loss for Fitz.
Yeah, and the only thing funner than a normalized distort tier 3 is a normal and sized distort tier 4. So that 62k HP you're expecting on tier 4 is thrown out the window, and things can get interesting or things can get scary fast.
But Jesus the Frog making it through tier 3 using Fenrir to stop the
gap
calmness.
close. That's a big gap close.
Yeah. Alright. Tier 4 happening for Jesus the Frog. Doom rematch going on for Golden Shocker. And we got Knuckly Kong versus Goddess going on 1v1 right now.
Oh,
Or excuse me,
interesting.
we will be when he gets back into the tower.
Yeah, that's good. That's good thinking on Knuckly. You see that it's Goddess, so you're just going to immediately go like, "Hey, I definitely don't want this group to be dealing with this right now." They're warping out. Oh, they did a full
Yeah,
clear.
full clear.
They did a full clear. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so tier 4, meet Jesus the Frog. Jesus the Frog, meet tier 4. Let's see what happens.
We have a sleepy Edgar. We'll see if he wakes back up. Sometimes the status effects that wear off normally can get a little buggy when the tiers transition. I know the morph glitch is a really popular one. If the morph timer runs out during a transition in the final battle, that morph status will be permanent. But that also applies to things like sleep. So hopefully that Edgar is going to get back up. Though might not be too necessary.
Yeah, this is a little bit scary though because Goners may not do what he expects it to do as far as a damage standpoint. So hopefully this does the fact out for Jesus the Frog.
And
Never
there
mind.
it is.
Yeah. So in that situation, GG's indeed. In that situation, you can expect Goner to do a certain amount of damage, but if that magic stat on Kefka is rolled high, it can get uncomfortable fast on you. But doesn't matter if you take him down before he can cast it. GG's to Jesus the Frog. 142-11. Catching up in the race room with our other runner. 1-3 Fitz finished at 141-31. So Golden Shocker no longer holds the title of toppest turkey of them all. It has now been passed on to 1-3 Fitz, and congratulations to 1-3 Fitz.
Cool. Hey, we got Jesus the Frog here in the booth with us. GG's. Congratulations on being the #1 on stream. How'd that feel?
I saw Fitz snipe me. I was going to defend the Kefka, and I saw him hit dot done. I'm like, man,
so bad. It's just super close too.
If Doom hadn't taken 12 minutes, I might have won this race.
So yeah, let's start there because that was rough, and the statues are pretty big problem for everybody. What is how do you feel when you run into something like that, when you're just bashing your head against this boss and you've picked at least what I thought was the correct strategy, transfer Edgar over to being a jumper, but it just isn't quite working out. Like how does that end up affecting your thought process?
No, it's a bit frustrating, but you gotta stick to it. Like the first attempt, I needed one more pro proc. I would have gone through. Didn't get it, so I tried again. Got worse. I decided to change to the horn with the overlancing of Poltergeist. Very timely, by the way. I was like, all right, get him out in the air, keep him safe, no problem. I just needed to bounce more than twice, at least once, and it was not happening. First, the win time, I was like, all right, let's equip Realm, give her Flame Shield, Force Armor. She'll be there healing if I need to. He bounces 3 times to the 4 times, and it's easy.
Yeah, and those the North Wind casts were not being friendly to you either. That was. I would like to say.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, so please, after you.
How many times in a row did I get Northern Crossed on only Edgar?
I think it was
5.
Counting. Yeah,
it was 4.
No, you went up to 3, and then it happened
was
on third turn for number 4. And on the 5th one, we were going to donate Turdsman's paycheck to charity app, and again, unfortunately, it didn't for Turdsman's sake.
Right. Yes. I got several in a row, and then it missed the first turn, and then he landed and hit the second turn. I had to reset it anyway, so it was super good.
I will say that was entirely Glue's fault.
I mean, this whole experience is entirely Glue's fault.
Well, I guess that's true.
You're welcome. All right. So, Jesus the Frog. Other than that, that we'll call it that Doom situation. What was your approach throughout the rest of the seed to work your way up to that certain area where you're going to have to go through the statues? How are you preparing for the challenges ahead at the end of the seed as you're beginning the seed?
Well, at the beginning of the seed, got a free Illumina, I think, from Weapon Shop, or Item Shop 1, whoever it was. Yeah, Weapon Shop 1. And that was pretty much, okay, there's my offense for most of the seed. I saw their Atmas for sale, but I ended up finding like 3 of them, I think, so I didn't actually need to buy any. Picked up Genji gloves somewhere, which is really fortunate. A VK from a dragon, I think, and then picked up an offering from my dragon, I want to say. So that the offense really came together. By the time I got to Kefka's Tower, I knew I had Genji glove, double Atma, offering. I could put an Atma on Setzer, Edgar, or Locke. So I knew any one of them could solo a boss, a statue boss. So I was not really worried. I was going to split, do full right, and then do a 2 and 2 until I went to grab extra levels from the Opera Dragon and grab that the offering. Once I had the offering, I was like, well, okay, that solves Goddess. Because I really didn't have a way of dealing with Goddess with a solo character situation. Rather, I didn't have 3 characters that could solo Goddess. But with the offering hand, all my worries disappeared. Turns out it probably would have been faster to go 2 and 2 anyway, because I could have walked the tower 2 more times in the time it took me to do that Doom fight. But on paper, I was covered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that can
main
always.
problem there, the wild card really is normalizing the storage. Because if a Doom had vanilla level 50 hit points, I would have been through in the first attempt. It's just because he had an extra like 10,000 that I couldn't kill him fast enough.
And that's a problem with that's a problem that a runner can run into a lot of the time, where you made all the right decisions, but just the random numbers didn't play fair. And with normalize and distort active, that is substantially more likely.
Yeah, the Doom fight was just RNG, showcasing the power of RNG. I needed to not get hit Thorn Cross on Lock specifically, or on other Grand Main, or I needed to get Pro Procs, or I needed to get extra Dragonhorn bounces. Any one of these things going my way, and I win. It just took like 12 attempts before it happened.
Yeah, you ended up transitioning away from the Lumina to the Atma to the Dragonhorn setup with the Gauntlet or Lance. Did you ever consider any of the other possible setups, like a jumping with the Lumina, or maybe
I thought
I
about
think you had a
jumping.
Valiant.
I thought about
I'm
jumping
sorry,
to
go.
Lumina just to try to get the extra Pro Proc in there, but
Uh-huh.
I'd rather have the guaranteed like 6k damage. He only has like, even with the roll he only has like 45,000 health, maybe I think about 40. So I only needed to get 2 good turns of 3 or 4 jumps, and I was through guaranteed with Aura Lance. Just needed to get the procs. So I was more concerned with that luck. It seemed more likely I would get 1 or 2 extra bounces than I would get a Pro proc. I'm not sure the math is, though. Maybe that was wrong.
No, I think that's about right. I think that sort of shook out on the successful attempt, where once everything lined up the way that it was supposed to line up, you had them like that.
Yeah. The other thing I could have done was actually put the flame shield on Edgar and give him a single Atma offering or a non-gauntlet Aura Lance jump, just to give him better survivability. But I really didn't want to sacrifice that 2x damage with the Aura Lance.
So yeah, were there any other parts of this particular flag set that you wanted to shout out? Anything that is maybe not the standard Ultros League that you have any particular strategy for?
Yeah, well, my strategy was don't get 2 of Tritok, Palador, and Phoenix. But then all 3 of them were really early on checks I really couldn't avoid. I got Phoenix from Tritok, and I reset. So I was like, actually, my speed, I'm not taking it. And then, like 2 checks later, I got Tritok from I believe it was Locke's Narsh, or not Narsh, but Locke's cave check at Tunnel Armor. So I couldn't avoid. I already had Palador, so I couldn't avoid the -20 speed. That was not fun, having -20 speed basically the entire seed. I can't tell you how happy I was when I saw Tritok at Guardian, and then Poltergeist was the center fight. That was vanilla statues, wasn't it? It happened to line up.
Oh, you're right, it was.
Yeah. So that was a fun flag, which I have to thank Glue for.
Well, you put on a real good show. That was a really fun watch. Thank you very much for running for us tonight.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, Glue. Anything else that you want to ask?
Oh no, yeah, that Tritalk there being at the end was planned all along. Don't ask me how I made it happen, but I have ways. But no, thank you, Jesus the Frog. GG's, we appreciate you volunteering to be on Restream and playing with us tonight and volunteering your time. And we hope you have a good night and enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend, my dog.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Meanwhile, we've got Golden Shocker heading up the tiers as well. They're on tier 2. We got Papa Shango that came in here to fill the open window. They're on tier 1. Utter Butter making their way up the tower, and Knuckly Kong starting to tear apart these statues here.
Yeah, Papa Shango, all those levels from doing the full, the full lanes and whatnot, really paid dividends for him. Plus, he never had anything to measure time sinks from, having to 1v1 some of the statues. Things not going, super well on this tier 2 for Golden Shocker, so interesting to see here if Papa Shango can catch up to him.
Question from the chat: did Knuckly do something wildly different to breeze through the statues, or was it perfect alignment of the RNG stars? I think there was some pretty decent RNG on Knuckly's side. I was kind of watching it a little bit while we were talking. I think the trick was that Knuckly's around level 50. Like they fought almost, I think, all but one dragon, all of them except for the one in the Fanatics Tower, and had access to all the same weapons as everybody else, which was a lot of Valiant knives and a lot of Atma weapons, and those both really benefit from having extra levels. Regular Atma weapon especially. So I think they just happened to have some extra, push behind them and got through the statues a little bit quicker before they had an opportunity to really wreck house.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of all of the extra levels from the dragons, from doing the full lane clear. Plus, look at the top character in this party slot. You take the best character into the toughest fights, good things will happen.
Well, the best character is now in the back row and can't be changed, so rip.
The furniture will rearrange itself.
That's true, yeah.
After the first part of this fight is done. But yeah, we were talking about, interesting to see you can finish between Golden Shocker and Papa Shango. With how fast Knuckly went through those statues, he is, not out of it whatsoever to fog one of the two runners on the right side of the screen.
So yeah, Papa Shango similarly has a bunch of levels. I think I noticed them at around like 48 or 49 as they were going in. So not quite the same as Knuckly Kong, just a little bit under them, but both a pretty decent amount stronger than Golden Shocker right now. That this might be a situation where Golden Shocker gets lapped a bit by Papa Shango and Knuckly.
Yeah, Golden Shocker having a rough go of his tier 2. Eating some 10 hits while he's got a character down, character poisoned, and a character crouching. Not a feel-good feeling, and he's just going to leave Cyan behind. We'll save the world, and we'll send Cyan a postcard. We'll let him know how it went and how beautiful the world healed itself, and he can appreciate it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cyan was not one of Golden Shocker's main characters that he was using. I think they lost... not Edgar. Setzer, excuse me. I think they lost Setzer on tier 1.
Keynote there, Papa Shango did start before Golden Shocker, so Golden Shocker actually passed them now.
Oh, okay. And Knuckly heading up to tier 2 also. Really made short work of tier 1. Thankfully, had plenty of defense to deal with all those counterattacks. Not a whole lot of multi-target damage. I think that was... I was watching Fitz's stream a little bit near the end of the fight when I heard that they had made it to Final Kefka before everybody else, and they had a lot of ultimas getting thrown around on tier 2, and as a result, it was pretty short work for Fitz during tier 2. This is the time to bust out your multi-target attacks if you can get away with it. Since there's 4 targets, your ultima is going to do a lot more damage if it's being used on tier 2 versus tier 3, for example. Oh, Merton on Golden Shocker's side, taking everybody down.
Yeah, that's all right. Locke is the only one that matters. But my goodness, he's done close to 15k damage to Girl, but she just, restored herself for over 9,000 along with sleep. So really unfortunate stat roll here in this case.
Girl is down.
Yeah, finally took her down.
Oh, finally. Oh no, we need some blocking here.
Oof.
And we don't get it.
Decided to just go for it, and unfortunately did not get rewarded for his bravery.
Yeah, Golden Shocker has thrown in the towel. No
Golden Shocker is Jexrock now.
Yeah.
I'd probably look like that too if that just happened to me.
On the tier 4 now for Papa Shango, third place still up for grabs in this evening's community race between the 4 runners on your screen. Knuckly Kong doing his best to catch up. Now we got a neck and neck between him and Jexrox, and Outer Butter is working his way up to the final fight still.
Thankfully, lots of healing. Cure 3 pretty early on, both life 1 and 2, which is handy if you have somebody using the Valiant Knife. You don't necessarily want to bring them back up to full HP. So lots of ways to keep yourself alive, but the issue that a lot of our runners have been running into, which I think Knuckly and Papa Shango with their extra high levels are going to have a little bit less trouble with, has been one-shots, honestly. You know, a goner coming out at the wrong time, or, for example, a zombified Setzer tossing dice at Umaro for a lot of damage.
It's all right. You know, that's just want to make sure your Maro, you know, has as good as defense as everybody says he does.
Now, not a whole lot you can do when it's fixed dice coming at your face, but unfortunately, it also looks like Knuckly might be out of Revivifies. They are not bringing that Setzer out of the zombie state. As Papa Shango, I completely missed it, took out Final Kefka. GG's, third place for Papa Shango tonight. 157.33, or 53.
Yeah, and we'll grab Papa Shango, throw him on in here against his will, and get into the thick of it with him. Papa Shango, GG's. 157.53 is your finish. What are your thoughts on the seed, my friend?
Well, thanks for the GGs. My thoughts on the seed, it was definitely, it was a seed, that's for sure.
It was one of the seeds of all time.
It sure was. I was like, oh man, there's Atma weapons for sale, this will be great. And then every check gives you an Atma weapon. There's just so many Atma ones going. Then like that slow speed, and then just the real nice get your speed back. Tri-Talk and Poltergeist both in the middle lane of KT was just a nice little cherry on top.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprising confluence of events where the method of losing 20 speed was practically unavoidable, and then the method of getting it back was locked to the very end of the game.
Yeah, I think what helped me out, I'm not sure what everyone else did, but I dove into the tower and cleared out the middle lane around like an hour 20-ish or something. I think I was hour 30 maybe. I was like level 34, and I went through the middle lane and cleared it out, and it got me up to basically level 40, got my speed back. It was really a turning point for me on the seed.
So yeah, was there any particular part of it that you know, I don't know how much experience you have in non-UL seeds. I know that you've been around for a hot minute, but was there a particular flag in this particular flag set that you want to call out?
Probably the tiered chess. I've only done it one other time, and so my expectations were low, and they were still exceeded. You know, there was nothing great in the chest. Although there was like a flame shield right away, and then nothing. And I just kept looting, thinking, oh, they're tiered. You know, eventually something good will come out of these, and it just didn't happen. And so yeah, that one definitely was one. I gotta know, don't loot with that thing on.
Mm-hmm.
The normalize and distort is definitely interesting because you had some thick Kefkas, and does it affect girl? Because I swear I did more than 10,000 damage to her.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah, she had like 20k in this one. It was awful.
Oh.
Like I think it was I think it was Golden Shocker that like hit girl I think 2 or 3 times, and she still did Pearl Wind for like 8k.
Oh jeez, that's rough.
Yeah, normalize and distort takes all of the stats, HP, their magic stat as well. We almost saw it, I think, on Jesus the Frog screen, but it can be one of those things too where Goner or even Meteo comes out. As we're seeing it now on Jexrox's screen. Typically, you would expect Meteo to hit you for about 1,200 damage, give or take a little bit. but it just hit Jax Rocks for 1800, and if you're not expecting that, it can really, really throw you for a loop along with the obscure HP totals.
Yeah, luckily my offense was so strong that I blew right past that and didn't have to worry about it, because that would have certainly caught me off guard.
So I guess one question that I do want to ask, since we weren't able to keep track of your whole run, how many dragons did you end up fighting? Because this was a very, like, our runners were really looking to rid the world of dragons in this particular seed.
No, I was right there with him. I killed 5 dragons.
Okay.
I
Seems like the way to go with this.
Yeah, I was initially with the Wyra move. I was gonna go to Zozo to get the dragon in the free check and try and spike a weapon, but then there were so many weapons before that it wasn't really necessary. But I did go back to it later in the game just to try and get some levels, because with this scaling, I was behind scaling pretty bad in the mid game, and I just needed to go somewhere to get levels. So yeah, focused on killing dragons for that, hoping to find an offering, which I don't know. Did anyone else do the Serpent Trench?
Yes, I think Golden Shocker did, and found that offering at the end of it.
Yeah, that was funny. After going through all those monster in a boxes, he's just sitting there in the trench.
So, all right, GG's to Knuckly Kong, coming in 4th place, I believe, at what was it, 2? Where'd it go? 2:03:38.
Finished in 4th.
And Jexrock coming in right hot on his heels. 2:03:41, the official time in the room.
Actually, Knuckly Kong finished 30 minutes before that.
By Golden Shocker. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
So Butter is still running. Whoever that is.
All right. Papa Shango, before we let you go, is there anything else you got coming up that you want to give a shout out to, plug, or whatever you would like to speak about for a moment before we turn our attention to Knuckly Kong?
Sure. Yeah, just want to thank you guys for putting on the restream as always. It's always entertaining and fun to be able to participate in these, and it's just a great community. Anyone that's new out there, join the Discord. Lots of new people join all the time, and everyone's just falling over each other to give advice. It's a great community, and just want to thank everyone for putting it on for us.
All right. Very well said, and GG's, and thank you again for volunteering your time tonight and being on the back half of the restream for us.
No problem.
All right, and speaking of GG's, Knuckly Kong, you squeezed in there just before Jax, 3 seconds ahead of him in the official Turkey Day standings. What did you think of the seed overall, Knuckly?
Overall, I feel like it was a good seed. I struggled with some bosses early, and then I spent extra time in the end trying to find Frytalk just to figure out, that he was at Guardian, and then right up after him was Pulte, so I got all of the speed back that I lost from finding all 3 of the bird espers. The early Illumina was nice, but running into Atma at Locke's first check was not great, because you want Illuminas to proc unless it's a boss that absorbs holy damage, and that's what I was stuck with.
Yeah, that Atma gave everybody some trouble. Most people found it early, so it really, we weren't aware of it at the time, but it rolled really, really nice speed and really, really nice magic power. Because Golden Shocker went back there when he was a much higher level, and it still gave him the business just because it was acting so fast and it was hitting so hard that he couldn't keep up with it. So it took Golden Shocker, down early, and then multiple people down early, and then it took him down and put in a few other runners even later on when they gave it another try.
Yeah, Atma was rough for the whole game.
Yeah.
Did anyone do Magitech 3?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Jesus the Frog did.
Yes, it was an Esper.
Okay.
With no scary bosses. It was Yamaro and then nothing special.
I think it was wasn't it the Ultros 4 fight?
Maybe.
I
Man,
know
we
for a
didn't
while.
we didn't know it at the time, but we knew that you had to warp out of there because you were didn't have the restoratives to get all the way through it. But no, there was unfortunately nothing scary back there the rest of the way if you could have made it through.
I struggled to keep Setzer alive, even though he had like good armor. He was just eating every hit.
Yeah, I think
And then-
the offensive stats were particularly high in this one.
Yeah, I pushed scaling, and then Setzer just kept dying, and I debated switching him out, but I figured he had been in that long, and if I could keep him alive for some of the later fights, he would catch up on levels real quick. Losing him to tier 2 was not ideal. He did get a really good dice roll against Yeti, so that was awesome to see. But with the barter shops, I tend to spend a lot less on restoratives.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even consider buying consumables until the end, and I found sleeping bags, and I bought just enough to make it through the last 2 statues.
So, with barter seeds, Knuckly, what is one of your approaches? Do you tend to do a little more looting, a little more shopping, a little column A, a little column B?
I tend to do more shopping than looting, especially on this flag set. There was tiered chests. If it was a normal, like, Ultros League flag set, but it was barter seeds, I would loot and shop, just because the loot could be good, whereas with tiered chests, it's usually not. I did start grabbing more at the end, hoping to find some sort of restoratives in treasure chests instead of having to spend money on them. But usually barter shops, depending on the starting amount of money, I will do more shopping than looting. Check more shops, see if you can find big shiny swords or great relics. Dipping into the Coliseum at the end, finding the additional raid ring and the red jacket. I had Merton protection on 3 of my 4 party members.
Yeah, and that would be good too. That there was a lot of Merton flying around between Atma and Tier 3, and I think Atma Weapon, his younger brother, was throwing it out at a couple runners as well.
I never got tagged by Merton.
Oh my!
Really?
Who is that?
That's the Jexy.
Welcome to the booth, Jex Rock. 20341.
He's everybody.
Just behind Knuckly Kong. So yeah, this there was a lot of offense getting thrown around in this one for sure. Was there a specific point, Knuckly, when you noticed that and like had to take that into account, or is that just kind of a general radiation, like background radiation that you think about throughout a seed, no matter what?
There you go.
Was that a question for me or Jack?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess yeah, Knuckly and then Jax.
I thought you were asking Jex, so I blanked for a second. What
Sorry
was the
about
question?
Sorry about that. Just the sort of the high offense that enemies were putting out. Was there a point in the seed when you noticed that was more than normal, or is that just something that you try to keep in your mind no matter what?
Welk.
Oh yeah.
I've never had a Welk fight take that long.
Oh man, I forgot about that. That was brutal.
That's normalize and distort for you. That is
Other than that, like,
exactly what normalize and distort will do.
my statues went very smooth. I did bounce around the one offering that I had because I peeked the other statues after taking out Bolty. And I was like, all right, I'm going to put Locke and Yeti against Goddess. And then I put my team in the wrong spot. So I ended up just shuffling the offering and Atma weapon Genji glove to Edgar and let him just smack Goddess for everything that he wanted. And Locke took down Doom very quickly. But with strong offense and high levels, I think I was low to mid 50s. It's not going to take long to get through Doom when you've got Atma offering.
Mm-hmm. Jexrox, let me ask you this: what was your approach with the you're a seasoned runner yourself? What was your approach to the various combination of challenges, these flags through your direction?
So my initial plan, which sort of fell flat on its face, was to loot and scoot pretty hard early on because random tier chest was going to give a nice large variety of equipment, and do a little bit of shopping for a little more variety, or get some armor going and some offense going, and then hit the Coliseum after grinding out a few levels.
Mhm.
Coliseum did not provide very much for me. I was not about to sacrifice an elemental shield for a Valiant Knife, for starters. I felt elemental protection is much more useful than early offense, like a Valiant Knife. Eventually the offense came. I had Ultima going. I wish I found an economizer. That would have been way better than the gold hairpin that I was rocking, but sets are throwing Ultima around. Go use a Mimic to, get a second round out to up the damage a little bit more. Had Locke run around with Illumina, eventually Genji Glove Illumina. I did find Realm and got Bum Rush on her, so she took down... Her and Go took down Doom real quick. It was a slog of a seed, in my opinion, because of normalize and distort and the skewed scaling being in the enemy's favor. Normalize and distort always makes a seed a bit of a grind, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah, normalizing as a sword, I would say every 2 bosses you fight, it's not pertinent because it rolled in your favor some way somehow. But then you come across a third one, and then it turns like the Atma or the Welk, into a statue type difficulty boss in the middle of your seed because the stats skewed it in their favor. So it just you gotta maybe grind a little bit more. You gotta do the normal Final Fantasy 6 things to get a little bit of power underneath your belt.
Now, one thing that I did do was I saved the training house monster in a box to the very end of the seed because it was Gigantos. And that was a quick level boost for my party, allowing Realm to go grab Bum Rush.
Yeah, not only people took that Realm, I was surprised because Bum Rush is a free quad 9 on a Realm, plus with the Go to just at worst do half of that, so I thought the Realm was slept on a little bit here.
Ooh, GG's to Utter Butter.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was clenching at the end there. That was the right thing to do, though. Locke with 46 HP left, just barely surviving an Ultima, smacking Final Kefka for the last 7k that they needed. GG's to Utter Butter. That was a cool one.
Very nice ending.
And very new runner as well. Utter Butter, this is his first time on Restream. I want to say first time doing something other than Ultros League. So coming in, just about 10 minutes after everybody else. Really strong showing from Utter Butter.
Yeah, very well done for his first time venturing into not only barter shops, but also normalizing the distort. Losing 20 speed because the Espers happen to be certain Espers. Really unfortunate, but really strong performance despite all of those things thrown in his way as roadblocks. Knuckly Kong, before we let you go, is there anything we gotta let you plug, throw out there, give a shout out to?
Have we plugged the Moogle Cup?
No, we have not. What is the Moogle Cup, good sir? Please enlighten me.
the Moogle Cup is an awesome way to introduce new players to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. We pair you with a mentor, and it is a 3-race group run, and then you go into the higher tiers of the finals. I think it's top 8 advance to round 2, top 4 to round 3, and then the top 2 go into the finals. The Moogles can be coached live or like video reviews if they aren't able to hook up with times with their mentors. So you can have one of our lovely mentors in your ear, kind of giving you different ideas on what routes you can take in a seed, or just kind of picking your brain to see what you should do next throughout the entire race as you're racing another Moogle. It's great. We have a lot of great mentors in this community, and the Moogle Cup is a very, very fun way to not only learn the game, but get introduced to some of the more seasoned runners. And other than that, this community is wonderful. There is not one single person here that will get upset or offended if you ask any sort of questions. So join us in our Discord, ask questions, learn how to play the game. It's a fun time.
Very well said. And Jaxrox, I posit the same question to you, my friend, before we let you go.
Closing thoughts? Well, one more thing about the seed itself. I rolled a dumpster fire. We got the minus 20 speed. Yeah, we got the minus 20 speed, and Tritalk was sitting at the Guardian spot. I'm like, what is going on here? But aside from that, closing thoughts. Anybody here that is new to Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, please come join our Discord. As Knuckly Kong said, we got a wonderful community. There is a link to our Discord in ff6worldscollide.com. Please give our Restream team and runners a follow. GG's, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you,
All right.
Jaxrox. Yeah,
Very
and,
concise.
very well said.
GG's.
Thank you again, gentlemen. Thank you for your time and help volunteering on your streams for the back half of the race. We're joined by one more guest before we sign off. Outer Butter, welcome on in. What are your thoughts of the seed and your experience with it overall?
I played very safe because my muscle memory is pretty much completely gone. I didn't get to play for like 3 months until Ultras League 7 just started.
Mhm.
So I played really safe. I don't think I wiped a single time. I did have my my game just like, I don't know if you saw it during the go-go check, but my game just completely froze up and I had to restart, so I lost a check there.
Yeah, there was like some weird stuttering that was going on.
Yeah,
I
had no
figured
idea
it was
what it
on your stream. I didn't realize it was the actual game.
I
That
actually had
sucks.
I actually had to restart my whole emulator, and then my headphones got screwed up from that, so it wasn't a big deal. Probably only lost about a minute and a half from that, from having to redo the quick kefka check, but because I skipped the shops and everything that I did after, so. But yeah, I don't know. That was fun. I thought I played way too safe instead of playing fast, but yeah, good time.
So yeah, there. I will mention that I think you are right. I don't think you wiped once, and that is definitely not a common experience for this seed for our other runners. I know you said you were playing it really safe, but were there something specific that you were focused on? Like, did you want like a specific type of offense? Did you want to make sure you had items X, Y, and Z before you started to really go for it?
No, I think the only time I really screwed up was I got 2 Atma weapons from the Coliseum, and then I think I found 3 more looting.
There were a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ended up with 5 at the end. 2 Illuminas, 2 VKs. So I was pretty over leveled and over inventoried by quite a bit. But I wasn't really going for anything except making sure I didn't wipe a bunch of times. So just over leveled. I was almost level 50 by the end.
I think Knuckly was in a similar boat. Lots of dragon fights in this one. Is that something that is is there a reason that you want to go after dragons and a reason you don't, in general?
No, in this case, it was just they were there and I wanted levels.
Hmm.
I had the gear pretty early. I mean, I had a Valiant Knife and an Illumina. I want to say it was like 25, 30 minutes in. I had both of those, so it's not like I knew I didn't need items. It was just a purely levels thing.
I guess speaking of something we haven't really talked to anybody about yet, the barter seed. I know that's something I don't have a ton of experience with, so when it pops up, it's a big deal for me to have to like reset my brain. How do you deal with stuff like barter seeds?
I've never done one before, so I just was winging it the whole time, to be perfectly honest. I normally I have kind of a set amount of like, Phoenix Downs, base items that you get. You obviously can't go in and buy 11 Phoenix Downs right off the bat. You don't have the cash for that. So, first of all, the fact that we started with 5 was a huge plus because that made things a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, I've never played a seed where it was like set prices and everything like that. So that was navigating as I went for sure. Finding the mega elixirs kind of early gave me peace of mind too, and I made sure I saved one till the end there, which was I brought it down to the wire with Locke having 46 health. So
yeah, that ruled, by the way.
Yeah, I
easily the
figured out-
coolest finish of the night.
I forget who said it. I think it was Knuckly said, "If you go down in flames." And I was like, "All right, this is the moment."
Yeah, that would have been like, though this conversation would have been a completely different like tone if you had wiped Final Kefka at the end there.
No, I'd still be here right now. I just wouldn't have a final time. I don't think I would have done that again.
Yeah, just be like, "Oh, buddy."
I knew I was getting pretty long, and I figured everyone or close to everyone was finished by now. So,
I mean, you finished strong. It was fun to watch. Glue, is there anything you want to ask?
No, GG's again. Thank you for volunteering your time to be on the restream for us. Before we let you go and I sign us off, would you anything you want to give a shout out, plug? You got it coming up personally, inside or outside the community you want to talk about?
not really anything specific, but I took a little break from this. Obviously, I haven't really played much since August, and that muscle memory went away real quick. I was talking to physics about that, but just kind of being able to hop out, hop back in, and kind of keep the same names around, a lot of familiar faces. It's just a really friendly community, and I've really enjoyed, for all the time I've been here. It's been about a year now that I've been playing, minus those few months. So yeah, just really enjoying the time here and playing the game again.
All right, GG's. Very well said, and thank you again for your time, my dog.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Turdsman. What an emotional race.
Yeah.
It had us by the strings the entire way through, but One Free Fits is our second annual Turkey Day champion. We will be seeing One Free Fits hopefully this time next year to defend that crown. We'll see. But yeah, I had lots of fun. So, Tersman, before I sign us off, do you want to give some final thoughts?
Nothing that a lot of the runners have covered a lot of what I wanted to say. Just head on over to the Discord if you want to jump in. We got the website ff6worldscollide.com if you want to roll your own seeds. And yeah, come in and talk. Somebody mentioned it earlier. We trip over ourselves to answer questions about Final Fantasy VI. Schwantz usually gets the snipe on a lot of them, but sometimes I get to answer a question and it feels pretty dang good. It's like I check my phone in the middle of a break. Like, oh, nobody's answered this one yet. Yes.
Yeah, I think Schwantz is allowed to have Discord on his work computer.
That makes sense.
I don't think he works from home, but I think he has Discord on his work computer, so he beats a lot of us to it. But thank you again, Turdsman, for joining me tonight. Thank you, Saberwolf, for restreaming and helping out. I was going to miss the start time, but Saberwolf stepped in, took care of everything. So, Saberwolf, I appreciate you, my dog. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this in any aspect. As everybody mentioned, if you are new to Worlds Collide, FF6, it is the randomizer version of Final Fantasy VI. Very active community, FF6 worldscollide.com, where you can find out more information. And before we sign off, we are going to pay a visit to Magre. Disclosure though, he is doing Elixir A, his week 4 run. So if you were one of the few people that have not done that, you may want to bolt out here in the next few seconds before we head on over there. But stay tuned. We'll be visiting Magre. Fantastic guy. Not an actual Moogle, by the way. Or at least I think so. He may be a real Moogle. I doubt it, but, never say never.
Yeah, you can't, like, sometimes you got with the VTubers and stuff, you can't tell.
Yeah. So just to reemphasize, Magre probably not a real Moogle, but we don't know for sure yet.
Either
We're
way, we need to go check him out. Thank you again for watching. Thank you, Saberwolf Double, for taking care of this, and thanks to all our runners for donating their time tonight.